once it clicked. In this show, I talk with artisan keycap makers and creators in the mechanical keyboard community to learn about their journeys and to glean insights into their design processes. This week, I'm stoked to share my conversation with Nick, aka Sludgekidd. With early influences from prominent designers including Kidrobot and KAWS, Nick translated his love of figures and unique colorways into his own art. In this chat, Nick opens up about his pursuit streaming on Twitch and the challenges he faced when first sharing his keycaps. We cover topics such as navigating social media and experiencing imposter syndrome as an artist. I'm very grateful for his insights, since I've been recently thinking about many of the ideas we discussed in this episode. Please enjoy. Are you ready to get into it?
Yeah, absolutely.
What I had in mind for this was really I kind of wanted to hear like your story.
Yeah.
About like even before keycaps, then like finding keycaps, and then like through journey, and then maybe like future.
Yeah.
And then maybe dive into design process, because I feel like, actually, I don't know, I'd be curious to hear what your opinion is, but I feel like there's kind of a gap between the larger mechanical keyboard community and makers in terms of understanding and just familiarity with makers as individuals. So I thought this would be dope just to get the chance for people to meet and kind of hear your story one-on-one.
Yeah, I really like that, because like I don't know, one of my favorite things to like do with other makers is hear like their stories and stuff too. Everyone has like, mine's like pretty like wild, and it happens like so fast. It's so weird to me how fast it like all happened, and like how rapidly things change and are continuing to like happen. It still doesn't feel like real almost. It's weird, because it's always been like a childhood dream of mine, kind of. Like, so since I was like young, I've always wanted to make like figures. Are you familiar with Bad Robot? Or no, not Bad Robot. Kidrobot. Bad Robot is a like a show company. Like they make shows.
Yes,
but
yes. The Lost. Yeah.
No, Kidrobot. Kidrobot. They make like toys and figures. They're like a kind of like an art collective.
The name sounds familiar. Let me look it up.
They make like they'll do like
oh hell yeah. I've definitely seen these.
Yeah. They do like blind packaging and stuff like that.
Yes.
And ever since I was introduced to that, like when I was really, really young, I was like fascinated with that idea where there was like, I don't know, they're like toys, but I was like maybe 10. So I was like really fascinated with the idea that there was like these like art toys that were like not quite art and not quite a toy. And it was like right in between. And you can like, one thing that I really liked about it was like art that you could play with as a kid, you know. It's like you can hold it. It's not this like sacred thing that you put on your wall. You can't like, don't touch it kind of thing. And I've always loved that. I've always really liked that. And I've always wanted to do it. So while I was working at my old job at a vape shop, one of my the like previous employees, we were like talking about actually art toys. I think we were talking about KAWS, who's like a famous, like he makes like these like Mickey Mouse looking like figures.
The companion?
Yeah, the companion. Yeah, exactly.
KAWS is dope.
Yeah. I want one still. I have never gotten one. But yeah, we were talking about him, and he showed me, he was like, oh, you'd really like these. And he showed me artisan keycaps. And he showed me, in particular, nightcaps, the Fugu.
Oh, Fugus,
yeah,
man.
That was the very first introduction. And immediately I was like, wow, I really want to buy one. Like I was obsessed immediately. I was like, this is so cool. I need to get one. And so I was like, oh, they're probably gonna be like $10. I'm going to find them on his store or something. And I searched and I could not find them anywhere. I couldn't find other people's caps either until I finally, after just like stumbling around the internet for long enough, I found out that there were like limited sales. They were hard to get like find. Like if you're not like really into the community, they're not really that easy to find. You know, you have to be like in the right place at the right time. And so once I found out all this, and then they were like $75, $80, $90, I was like, oh my God, what? I can't buy one of these. And then as time went, I was still like constantly thinking about them, and I ended up entering a sale for Catch-A like way early, and it was like a brain that was like encapsulated, and it was like it looked like a brain, a gelatinous like ooze brain kind of thing. It was super cool.
Yes, I remember.
Yeah, that was my very first cap. I still have it too, and from that point on, I was like, okay, I really like these. I want to learn how to make them. And I had this weird, like, this has never happened to me before. This, like, understanding before even starting, like, the sculpting process. Like, I kind of get how to make them. Not like the whole process and, like, all the intricacies, but, like, with the clay and the tools. Like, if I need to make, like, my little creatures or whatever, I can imagine like how I'm going to get from point A to point B in my head, like all the way through with just the sculpting process, if that makes sense. Like I understand what tools I need and like how to get to where I want, like have a cap. And I didn't know how to like, obviously, like make molds and all that. That took so much trial and error and like figuring out, just like probably everyone else. But yeah, I had this like weird, like almost, I guess, like
intuition.
Yeah, exactly. And by coincidence, during that time where I had decided that I wanted to start making them, I had been in a very minor car accident where someone rear-ended me, and the insurance had given me like, I think it was like $3,000 to like fix my car it was already like falling apart. So I took that money and I just started buying like casting gear. I just started buying all the stuff I needed for keycaps. I was just taking the risk. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do it. And I bought everything I needed. I started learning, and my boss at the time of the vape, when I was working at the vape shop, was like a very, very close friend. It still is. They're awesome people. And they actually, I live in Vegas, and they should be moving out here. And I'm very excited for that, because they also like are kind of into the keycap stuff. So I asked them if I could use the like back of the warehouse as like an area for me to do my keycap stuff, and they let me. So yeah, I in the beginning, my first couple sales were all made, sold, and shipped out of the back of a vape shop.
Yo,
yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Wait, I have to ask. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're good.
Just to dive into two things you said.
Yeah.
Where first was that as soon as you saw keycaps, you knew this was something that you're interested in based off of kind of your childhood dream of creating maybe this toy combined with art. And you also mentioned how you have this innate ability to kind of visualize and understand how to create a design or an idea that you have in your mind. And I'm curious if you have examples of how you developed that as a kid growing up. Was keycaps your first project, or had you had experience sculpting or designing before? Because your designs are legit. Like the first caps I've seen are detailed, and it definitely shows that intuition you spoke on. Yeah.
So my whole life. So my mom is very, very artistic as well, and a big reason why I'm into like art stuff is because of my mom. She introduced me to like all sorts of artistic like outlets and stuff like that. And she it was awesome of her to like have me in so many opportunities for me to like learn and practice art stuff. And I never really sculpted, which is the weird thing. I never really did it, but I remember through like different points in my life, like I would think about it, and I would have that like weird, like I feel like I would be okay at it kind of feeling. Like I kind of understand it before even doing it, which has never happened to me with anything else. Like I'm typically not very good at stuff. And it was just like this weird like gut feeling, I guess. But all my prior like stuff was all my prior like experience was like through drawing mostly, but I was never like I never like sold any art. I was more like I would doodle, you know. I wasn't like crazy on, but I've always wanted, I knew when I was younger I wanted to be an artist, because at some point in like high school or something, I thought like, oh, making figures is just like it's not accessible. It's not going to be like not easy. Like nothing is going to be like easy like that to get into. But I didn't think it was like a graspable thing. I thought you'd have to like be part of some company that like makes a name for you, like the Kidrobot company or something like that. I eventually thought, oh, that's never going to happen, you know. And through keycaps, it kind of has, which is like crazy. It's like I said before, like it doesn't make sense to me still. It doesn't feel real, you know. To this day, I don't know if I'll ever get used to it. It's crazy.
Dude, I hear you. It's same for me. It's like being able to just realize ideas, mess around with clay or sculpt, and then be able to share is freaking. It is crazy.
It's amazing, yeah. Like all over the world, like people are like enjoying something that I've made, and that's like something that I've always since I was a kid, I've always wanted. It's crazy.
I want to ask. You mentioned that you had this early interest for the figures, like the Kidrobot.
Yeah.
Was there something in particular that caught your interest about it?
I think so. The way I was introduced to it was kind of cool too. So I have like my whole family is like they're foreign. They come from Jordan actually, and so my aunt was like one of my youngest aunt is like very like I guess cool. She's like one of the she's my favorite aunt. She's super cool, and like I hip in with it, I guess. Like this is the best way I can put it. And she had a lot of like figures from Kidrobot, and it was this weird like introduction where she showed them to me, and they were in like a display case, and she was like, oh, we could go to a place and I'll like buy you a couple like blind packages. Like you don't know what's in them, but you'll get like a random like figure. And that like was amazing. That was like the coolest thing. And like she had him in a case and I wanted to play with them, but she was like, you can't play with mine, but I'll get you your own. And they're not expensive and you could have some. And I was like, oh, this is the coolest thing ever. And then she took me to this place in the mall. I couldn't remember where. And they had like I remember like how it looked too. It was like this like weird, like edgy, like clothing store. And then they had like this center like booth thing that just had like all different series of like Kidrobot stuff. And I ended up buying, I think they were like dunnies. If you're familiar with like the dunny, it's like a very simple design. And then Kidrobot makes the dunny. And then other artists will like design around it. So they'll like paint them and then they'll start like, I guess, mass producing them. And so there's like this like sculpt, I guess, and then all these artists will do their own renditions of it. And that's something I liked a lot too. I like when there's like a base of something and you can collect a base thing that's different across, like, but you have like 100 of them and they're all different, but they're the same shape, you know? If that makes sense?
Yeah, like a unique design with multiple colorways.
Colorways, yeah, exactly, yeah. And so that's another reason why keycaps like appeal to me so much too. But yeah, that was like kind of the like weird introduction to the toys. Yeah, they just like really fascinated me by like the fact that it's in between something you can play with and in between like art. It's like right in the middle. Like a kid can play with it, or you can have it on display in your house. So that like my aunt like had them on display, but then she went and bought me some so I could play with them. And I thought that was like so cool.
I hear that. It's like
kind of like
oh, sorry,
keycaps too.
go on.
Sorry, so yeah, it's like kind of like keycaps too. Like there are people who put them in boxes and have them on in display boxes, and then there are people who like fill up entire keyboards or like put them all on their F keys, stuff like that. You know.
I mean, yeah, I think of like typical collector art behind a glass. It's like you have your Gundam models or like a fancy painting, and it's like you can't take them out mid condition.
Yeah,
but I can see being able to unbox your own and then have that to kind of hold and play with, like, is game changing.
That's something like I also want to do. Like I have done them in the past. I've done like a couple figures, and I want to do more of them. But like one thing I don't want like really to happen is like I don't like the idea of like something staying in the box. You know, I don't like that idea where it's like don't touch it. You know, kind of thing. I like being able to like have like your buddy be like, oh, I got this thing. Like, let me bring it over and show you. That's the whole like that's the fun part. You know. But
it's like a way of appreciating it.
Yeah. Like for example, like the KAWS companions, like some people just like keep them in the boxes, and I'm like, I don't know. To me, it should be like out so you could like experience the whole like thing. But like I said, to each their own. Like everyone will do their own thing and enjoy it the way they want.
That's fair. Some people keep keycaps in a case, and some people put them on their boards.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, so you mentioned figures. I saw on your Instagram, I remember when I was first starting too, you posted pictures of 2 sculpts that you did, and I'd love to hear the story behind those.
Which ones were they? Because I remember right when I started making keycaps, I made like this little tiny figure. I think I named him Spuds or something like that, and I included it, I think, on my first or second sale, and it was this like tiny little guy, and he was like there. But he wasn't super refined. It was just like my first shot at it, and he came out like okay. I did sell a handful of them as well, but those were like I like multi-shotted them and stuff like that. But like for the ones I threw in, I just like I made whatever I wanted really and just threw them into packaging. But then later I made like a little bit bigger ones, like the size like the palm of your hand, a couple of them. Like one of them was like an elephant with one eye, and one of them was a bat. It was like a little sitting bat guy. Those ones I think are probably the 2 that you might have seen. Yeah. So those ones, for a little while I was streaming. I was streaming on Twitch, and that's another weird like avenue is like story. I was streaming on Twitch, and I didn't want to just sit there and like only either just like make keycaps like on stream or like sculpt only keycaps. I never wanted like my name Sludgekidd, my like brand name I guess, to be only keycaps. So that's why it's just Sludgekidd, not Sludgekidd Keys or whatever. I like want it to be open for maybe the future. Like if I'm doing other stuff, I'm always gonna do keycaps no matter what. It's like it's like the life, it's the blood of the whole like thing, you know. That's where I started. That's the roots. I'll always do it, but I want to be able to do other stuff. But yeah, when I was streaming on Twitch, I wanted to like be able to like hang out and like make stuff and like show people and like teach them, help them like with sculpting, I guess. And so both of those, actually, there was 3 of them. There was like this little bunny guy that I made too on stream. Yeah, I made him on stream, so people can like see different techniques and stuff. And I ended up really liking them, so I like kind of like finalized them. I mastered them, made molds and stuff like that. And yeah, I still have like masters of them and molds as well, so I can keep making them. But I'm kind of putting them on the back burner for now, just because it takes a lot of effort to make them, I guess. But it is worth it. It's super fun. It's just, I don't know. I'm not super motivated to do it right now.
Yeah, that's fair. Wait, I have to ask. So in addition to the bat and then the elephant sculpt and the bunny and then the one you mentioned before.
Yeah.
Were these the first practices in sculpting for you?
No, I would say probably the keycaps were. I made like, I remember way early in the beginning, I made like a couple different things like on like the synth, like the sculpting platform for keycaps. The amazing, like amazing tool as well. I made a couple different ones that were just like really just trash. I made it like one of them that just like I didn't understand like the sizing whatsoever. That was gigantic and it like it did not fit on a keyboard whatsoever. And then I made another one that was like cool, but it was like too thin. I did like a whole bunch of different stuff. I remember what the first one was too. The very first one was like this spider, like kind of looking face thing. And that's where like my first sculpt kind of came from too. Is like I wanted to make a spider, and it ended up being the Bub V1, my first sculpt. But yeah, my first like real practice was just doing keycap stuff, and then as I like started doing more keycap stuff, I was like, I don't want to be confined in like a tiny little box. I want to see like what else I can do after some practice, just like unrestrained. Like I can just do whatever I wanted, and I don't have to fit within like four walls. You know, I don't have to fit within four tiny walls, which is also another skill that's like I enjoy doing that as well. I enjoy the idea of you being put into like the small space of the keycap and then learning or figuring out what to do in there as well.
I hear like two almost contradictory ideas where you have these constraints for making a keycap, and then at the same time you have your desire to have a broad base of design experience.
Yeah, I like rules, and I like breaking rules as well, I guess.
That's fair. I mean, you got to know the rules to be able to break them.
Yeah.
Dude, okay, you brought up so many things that I'm curious to dive in.
I love talking about like just like keycaps. I like art in general. Like it's super fun to me. Sorry if I go on like tangents. Like it's just I do really enjoy like talking about art stuff, I guess.
Dude, Dick, I'm just vibing off. Like, to be honest, like one of the main reasons that I wanted to do this was like for me is because, like you said, like, for me, like I haven't really been as connected with the community. Like,
yeah, I feel that for me too. That's like one of the reasons. So I like I said, I was doing like Twitch stuff, and I'm not like. I am social. I like being social, but I'm like almost like reclusive as well. I like keeping to myself. Yeah. And so it's like I'm torn. Like I can't keep up with like a constant like go of how like the community kind of feels. It's like there's always a lot going on, and I enjoy the community. Obviously, I love the community, but like I just the way I am is like I like to be to myself a lot. So I have that same like I'm not super into like the community. I know a lot of like makers, and I talk to a lot of people and stuff like that, but I'm not like I guess super like friends with anybody or anything like that. It's just because I keep to myself for the most part.
Yeah, I hear you. Like I mentioned, making the Discord was kind of like the big jump for me.
Yeah. Same with me. I maybe had my Discord for maybe like I said 6 months. I want to say so. Like I haven't had it for like for a very long. Yeah, it's still pretty new, and I'm almost like never in there because, like I said, I'm a recluse. I like my own space. I guess I don't know. It's almost like. I wish I wasn't like that because like I feel like sometimes people get the wrong like idea of it. Like, oh, he just like doesn't interact with people, and I don't interact that much, but I like it's not because I don't want to. It's because of just like how I am, I guess.
Yeah, I can 100% relate. It's
trying
to find that balance. Yeah.
It's difficult.
Since we're talking about it, I'm actually curious because As someone who's creating, like as an artist, it's important to have this time for yourself where you can just sit with your ideas or with your designs. And yeah, at the same time, there's the whole aspect of the community and recognizing all these people who support you.
Yeah.
And this is something that I still find really challenging, is trying to find that balance. How have you thought about that?
It, it's that's so hard for me because I feel like it's so funny that you say that because it's like we're the same, exactly the same. I feel like when I'm not interacting, I feel almost guilty. I feel like almost bad because it's like there's all these people supporting me, and I am not always like there, like hanging out and talking stuff like that. But I've come to the realization that it's like, as an artist, you do need your own space. You do need your own like time and everything like that. And however much time and space you need is really dependent on you. Some people don't need it. Some people do not need it. They will be on Discord all the time. They'll be talking to everybody, and that's perfectly fine. It's just, it comes down to like you and you as a person. And I've just come to realize like I don't need to force myself to do it, because if you do something that like feels uncomfortable, it's just not going to come off like I guess the right way. That's why I stopped streaming. Actually, I've stopped streaming because I like, it felt like kind of off to me for whatever reason. It was just like kind of weird. I do want to start streaming again eventually, but like there was just like this weird off feeling because it wasn't like I wasn't there 100%. It was like this like almost forced social aspect, because I was like on a schedule, and like I would like turn on the stream like at a certain time every day because I had to, and that because I wanted it to be successful, and that's like one of the like best ways to do it. But yeah, it's just you have to find like a balance, and I don't think anyone really gets upset about it. Is another thing that you have to like understand too. Is like no one's going to be upset because you're doing you, and there may be a handful, but that's just toxic. I don't know. That shouldn't be. You shouldn't be too worried about like the few people that are upset because you can't be there 100%.
That makes a lot of sense, man.
Yeah. I struggle, and I still struggle with it every now and then, where I feel like I'm not doing enough, you know. But it's like I said, it's just you have to find a balance.
Yeah. I mean, that's definitely something I'm trying to figure out. I mean, especially like starting this new project, and like I did this like mini event a while ago where I asked people in my Discord for like design ideas for a sculpt.
Yeah.
And it's like I wanted to do that to recognize and give back to all the people who've supported me. And at the same time, it's like I feel this pull now to be present, like you say, just like be available more than focusing on my own art.
Yeah. And like if you look at like other makers, it's important to not compare, obviously, like to other people, because everyone is different. But if you look at other makers, they are all doing that very differently as well. And there are people that are doing it very similar to like you and I, where it's just they can keep to themselves, and they're fine, you know, they're doing just fine. And it's just they're everyone has their own personality types, and it's nothing to like worry about, I guess.
Man, that's straight wisdom right there. Yeah, that's something I need to practice more for sure.
Yeah, I still need to as well. I think everyone needs to.
So, okay, I've been like making notes of all these things that you mentioned that I'm so eager to dive into, but you mentioned Sludgekidd, your brand name. What was the origin story behind that?
That's another cool one. So, it's a two-part thing. So, I was sitting in the vape shop, and I was just thinking. It was probably a week of me just thinking about like what my name's going to be when I start. And I knew I wanted it not to be like super like restrictive. I knew I didn't want it to I almost this is another crazy thing too. I almost wanted to be like anonymous. I wanted to be like an alias almost, where like nobody knew who I was, and all that you see was the art that I put out. I wanted to be just like an entity, I guess. I thought that was really really cool. I liked when other like artists do that, and I've seen like other artists where they like if they do show themselves, they have like a mask or something, and I thought that was super cool. I was thinking about all these different ideas, and so I wanted it to be like something like kind of like, I guess, mysterious. I guess, but also, I was putting like ideas into a name generator on like Google, and for like a long time on like video games and stuff, my name was just Kidd, Kidd. So I liked that, and I wanted to see like what else like I could do with it. So I was putting Kidd into a generator, and then Sludgekidd like showed up as one of them, and I really liked it. And it immediately made me think of there's this figure. It's like an old toy, and it's called the It, and it's like this like toy that he's like this green guy, and you fill him up with like this goo. It's like almost like an antique toy now. It's really hard to find. It's really expensive. I want one really really bad because it's like part of the idea of my name. And yeah, he's like this toy that you squeeze, and then the like ooze comes out of his like eyes and nose and mouth. And I first saw it on the show called Pawn Stars. It's on Pawn Stars. And I fell in love with it because I'm into like toys and figures as well. So I really liked it. It had my like gamer tag in it that I've always used, and it like kind of fit the whole thing. So I was like, that, you know what, I'm going with it. That's what I'm doing. And I committed right there. I saw it on like the name generator, and it like lined up with everything. I was like, that's perfect.
You instantly knew.
Yeah. After a while of like just being super, I remember for maybe like a week or something, my name was something else on Instagram, but that's before I was even like making caps. I like had a name, but I didn't like it. And I was trying to think of something. I can't even remember what the name is now. Unfortunately, I wish I knew.
Wasn't as good.
No, it was not. No.
And just for a note for all the listeners, we'll put links to all of these in the show notes so that we can see.
Oh yeah, like the Ooze It and stuff like that. Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah.
Yes, because I have no idea. I have to see this for myself too.
I want one. One day I'm gonna find. And I've looked on like eBay and stuff like that, and like opened box versions of them, which is like what I want to get. Like I said, I don't like when stuff stays in a box and is like supposed to stay in the box forever. It's like $300 to like $600, and it's like it's so hard to find too. It's a bummer. And in the toy community and like the like figure making community, it's like a really well known. There's a lot of people who do renditions of it. I actually like made a keycap of it as well. I have like a keycap, but it's like kind of like I don't really sell. I didn't sell it. It's just like a thing that I made as like I don't know, like for fun, I guess.
So one thing you mentioned earlier was about your motivations for streaming.
Yeah.
You mentioned that one part was that you wanted to teach and help and show other people sculpting. And when I was first getting started, you were talking about this before we started recording. You were one of the people I reached out to. And after seeing one of your keycaps, I asked you a very simple question. I think it was like question or two.
Yeah.
And you were really open with basically giving me the whole process for making what I had in mind. And I'm just curious where that inspiration to help share like stems from.
So when I started, I had absolutely like zero idea where to like even begin other than like sculpting. Obviously, like I knew that you had to sculpt them, so I knew I needed clay, but I didn't know like what tools to get. I didn't know like how to make molds, and then making molds, like trying to like explain how to make a mold to someone is like speaking another language to them. It's very difficult. And so there's like this, like a lot of people in the beginning helped me. And one thing it's like a belief of mine that I still believe and will always believe is I don't think there's any secrets in art. I mean, of course there'll be like a few, I guess, like techniques that like people want to keep to themselves. But I think like a technique that you've learned and that like other people know how to do shouldn't be like held a secret. You should be able to help others like learn how to do something and not hold it like to your own like knowledge, I guess. It's kind of like a silly mentality to like be like, oh, I made something and now I want to keep it a secret how I did it, you know? Share that with people if you're comfortable. Some people are more protective of their art than others, and that's completely fine. But like, I think art doesn't have secrets because everyone has their own talent and art is always going to be different and everyone's going to look at it differently. So might as well share how you did yours, you know? I guess that's the best way to put it.
No secrets in art. That's beautiful, man.
I don't know how else to put it.
I think that's it's like you said, everyone comes to their own creative process with their own background, and it's only stimulating creativity.
Exactly.
You mentioned when you're talking about early tools, the synth. Were there other examples of either resources or people who helped you learn how to make keycaps?
So one of the first people that I like really talked to and tried to like understand more through was Keys. I don't know if they're still making keys or not, which is a real bummer because I really liked his stuff. He was like really early on. He was making like I remember he made that like brain cap that I was talking about, which was my first cap ever. It was like the gelatinous ooze brain. It was like a brain encapsulated in just like almost like a blank, but it was like rounded, so it looked like it was in like a glass dome kind of. And they made.
That was probably. Oh, sorry to cut you off. Continue. That was probably the most hype encapsulation I first had ever seen.
Yeah, I was like so amazed by it, and I remember like I was like talking to my girlfriend at the time, and I was so excited. I was like, "Oh my god, I'm gonna enter this! I hope I win! Look at how cool it is!" Like I was so stoked, and I got it, and I was so happy with it. I still have it, and I reached out to them and I asked them. I was like asking them questions on like I don't remember like details of what I've asked, but I remember one big one was like I didn't know how to run a sale, and they gave me all the info on how to run a sale, which was super like I'm super thankful for because that was like probably the weirdest part of the whole thing was like running a sale. I didn't understand where or what programs or like how to approach it. It was Keys, and then I can't remember really and other people. I know Hungerworks Studio reached out to me very early on and just want like I remember I posted a picture on Reddit, and Binge reached out to me, and that was like I was so nervous because he's like one of the at the time there was only like I want to say like 10 people making keycaps like at all, and Binge was like a big boy, like one of the big names. Yeah, and I was so nervous. I was like, what? I remember he was like, hey, if you have time, I want to like pick your brain, and I was like, this is crazy. I'm so like nervous and like this is scary. I was like super scared, and I talked to him and he like told me all this stuff. I remember that, and then he's like one of the design. He's the designer of the synth as well, and so I ended up like learning what tool I should be using in the first place to make caps, and that tool I still have.
Dude, that's tight that Binge reached out and then you're able to.
It was if he ever like hears this, it was so like I was so nervous. It was so funny.
I mean, actually thinking back, Binge I saw on Geekhack was one of the first resources that I found was
Yes.
how to like
Yeah.
sculpt on the synth.
Yeah. That's another thing I forgot to bring up is him and Glenn Beck. I use his like molding system right now. He's a pretty big one with like efficiency and like how to like actually make caps. And he all of his resources and stuff like that helped me out a lot as well. I remember like watching like videos. I looked at like you might have looked at the same thing I have. It was like a Geek Hack like forum post of how he made the hunger key.
Yes.
Yeah, I looked through that whole thing like maybe 100 times. Yeah.
That was exactly what I did to start out.
And that's funny too, because it's like that was such such a complicated key too, that it like taught you more than you needed to know, which is like super awesome. It was super cool to see.
Yeah, shout outs to Binge and Glenn. I mean,
yeah,
they've done a lot.
I mean, I want to say almost every maker brings that up, that they saw that post, and they've also like seen Glenn's stuff as well. They've like opened up a door for so many people. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
I mean, shout outs to Glenn too. He's been prolific with his content. He did the Artisan Alliance YouTube videos.
Yeah.
I forget who he co-hosted it with, but just the whole process.
Yeah.
And we'll definitely link to those, because anyone interested in making, you have everything you need. One thing you mentioned twice in the beginning was how hard it was to find how to get the nightcaps, Fugu, and then also how you learned from Keys how to host a raffle and sell your caps. Can you talk about how you decided on your business model and how you actually share your caps?
So the first way I did it was it was really like scary the first couple times to like sell them. Obvious, I did it through Reddit, and the only way I knew how was by looking at like other people's sales and how they did it. So I ran it as similar to other people's as I could, because that's all I knew. That's all I saw. And what happened too on my like very, very first sale was, at the time I only saw like a handful of people doing sales, and they were like far and few in between. Like there was not very many of them. And so all I saw, and you didn't see very many like new makers at the time. So I didn't know what to price my stuff at. I didn't know anything. So the prices I saw of other keycap makers were like $90, $70. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to do them for $45. And then people like flamed me on Reddit for making them $45. And it was like strange. I was like, whoa, like I see other people posting them for so much more and stuff like that. And I ended up lowering the price because like I understood, like I'm new, but it was kind of a weird thing, like right off the bat, that I like people were like kind of aggressive towards it. And from that point on, I was like, I'm going to be more careful, but I'm also going to be more like protective. I'm going to like kind of hold my ground. And I feel like that's important to do with your art as well. But from that point on, I like kind of strayed away from doing it like the traditional, like I never got into Geek Hack because I had no idea how to navigate it. It was intimidating to me. Reddit, I don't really post on Reddit anymore because like I don't know. I don't know why really I don't post on Reddit anymore. I felt like it was I guess more work than I needed to do. I don't know. I stopped doing it, I guess. And then now I just kind of like go with my own flow, and I just like kind of do what I'm comfortable with. And that comes down to like, again, just being comfortable with doing what you want to do and understanding that that's okay.
So where's the best place if I want to buy one of your new Bubbly 2? Actually, no,
Yeah.
you have a bunch of new caps. Where's the best place? I'm really curious.
For
to
me,
get
it's
that
Instagram. I post on like Instagram every sale. I make sure I post a story before every sale, like a day before, that has like a reminder. So you can like press the reminder thing, and it like gives everybody, there's like a countdown, and then you can like set a reminder. I do as much as I can, really, to like make sure if people want to get in, they can. But at the same time, like there's always a window. So, but I keep the window usually like 6 to 24 hours, depending on like how many caps I have and how, like what I'm doing with it, you know. But yeah, at this point, yeah, probably Instagram is the best. I feel like most people's main tool at this point is. I'm not sure though. I might be out of the loop. Maybe Reddit is still like the best, but yeah, I just like Instagram, I guess.
Yeah, it's hard. Yeah, for me, like I don't really follow Tech Market unless I'm posting there. So it's hard
that's like another thing is like I'm not super big like into Reddit, you know, and stuff like that. So I just kind of do what I know better. So I know Instagram, like, and how to navigate it and like what I want to do on it a lot better than I do on Reddit. And I don't know. There's so many rules too on Reddit, and I don't want to like break any of the rules, or like I remember I've posted before on Mech Market, and I like put something in there wrong, and I thought my sale was like running, and I left, and they took it down because I put a wrong tag or something. I couldn't remember what I did, and I was so like bummed and like sad because there was no entries, that nothing was happening because the sale just wasn't on there. And then I realized, I was like, oh my god, I did something wrong. But yeah, that was on me. It's not them. There needs to be rules, obviously, but it's just like it's stressful. I don't know. Having multiple different things that you have to run at the same time during a sale makes something that's already kind of stressful more stressful. Every time, still to this day, when I run sales, I get nervous. It's like no matter what.
I hear that. Like, I mean, I've been like trying to refine my process, but yeah, there were times when I would do Reddit, Instagram, like, and then email blast, and it's just like, way too many things. Like, too many things.
For me, I would sit there. I did like I know like currently now I have like a system that I'm working with like a friend that.
Oh, dude, he hit me up too. Wait,
did he?
Yes.
Is it Hippo?
Hippo.
Yeah, okay. Dude, the guy is a god, dude.
Dude, he's insane.
So he is an angel. He is a hero to me because I was doing everything. I was doing everything manually. I would sit there and it would be like, okay, I have like my monitors. I have multiple monitors, and one of them was Reddit. One of them is like the sale thing, and I'd have my like phone ready with like the Instagram, and I'd have like everything ready so that at the time, I just press all of them, dude. And now I just do it. I do like just the Instagram, and then like I have Hippo. Hippo just like fuck it, he does it. He just goes and he does it, and it's so much weight off my shoulders, and I thank him so much. It is unbelievable, like how much easier and like less stress I have because of that. But I used to do everything down to the RNG, down to like what caps people are gonna get stuff by hand. Like,
oh my gosh, dude, I feel that.
Yeah, it was, and I remember like every time doing it, I'm thinking like there has to be some other way. I wonder what other people are doing. I need a better way than this. This is like, it was killing me, dude. It was like I loved doing every process of the whole keycap making thing, and then it got down to like doing the sale, and it felt like this like like this looming cloud of like all this work that I knew could be done like automated or something, but it was wild.
It would be dreadful anticipating a drop when it should be happy and like cheerful.
Yeah. I was like way now I just get nervous because I get like nervous about it. I'm like, what if people don't like the caps? But I used to get nervous, like, what if I mess something up? What if I typoed something? What if the time was wrong? Like, what? Everything, literally everything going through my mind, and they were all like real. Like, I've messed up before too. Like, it was crazy.
And yeah, I'm so grateful. Yeah, he hit me up. Actually, I just ran my first raffle with his system. And
oh, nice.
Oh my gosh, hands off.
I'm so happy he hit you up. I'm so happy. He's saving people's asses.
People need to know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been like, anyone I can talk to, just like, yo, how do you do your raffles?
Yeah.
Because I've spent probably, I mean, just with like RNG and invoicing, maybe like 2 hours plus at times, and it's like, printing everything is just huge pain.
It was a nightmare. It was a nightmare. Like like you said, the anticipation of like, it made me like, I don't know, it made me so like not happy to do when it should be like super fun, and you're like super glad that it's about to happen. I don't know. It was super weird. I'm so glad that you brought that up. That's so funny. That
Oh my gosh.
I have to probably go talk to him about this.
Yes,
so funny.
Yes. So grateful. So grateful. You mentioned your experience with your first raffle where you got flamed for dropping your caps and posting them at a certain price. And I think this speaks to how quickly people are to critique different makers' pricings.
Yes.
How do you think about valuing your art? And this doesn't have to be just dollars per cap, dollars per hour, but also recognizing the time that you've put into learning, the time that you put into creating, like your energy. I'm just curious how you think about valuing that.
I mean, it's as valuable as people want it to be, I guess, with art. So that's any art. People could look at something and go, that's not worth it. And that's fine for them. But another person can look at a piece of art and be like, that speaks to me, and I need it. Name your price, you know? So it really comes down to like you respecting like your own like art, and other people realizing that like it's their art, you know, and they've come to the conclusion that it's worth however many dollars or what it means to them, you know. And in the beginning, like, if I could go back, I wish I did the first thing as like a giveaway, because that feels like the right way to do it, I guess. Is like my first sale ever would be not a sale, would be a giveaway. So like everyone can like enter it, everyone can see and appreciate like my work, and then from that point on, anyone else who wants it after, you can enter sales. And that would have been, I think, no one would have flamed that. I mean, there's no way you could. But I understand where people were coming from. Like, I was new, and I guess people valued like more experienced people more, I guess, and that's understandable. But I feel like you should never ever be rude about it, and there were people that were. And I mean, I don't hold grudges. It was just like, if anything, I think it was like it's kind of funny like now, because now I'm still doing it, so whatever. But yeah, it's just don't ever be rude about it. That's like just the biggest thing. And that it's sad that it happens like with with every avenue of art. Artists always have trouble valuing their own art, and then they're scared of what people will say once it's valued. And I think that's kind of a bummer.
Yeah, you speak to balancing both the perspective of your fans and supporters, and then also recognizing that you also are putting this energy and effort from yourself. Yeah. And
when people, I remember at the vape shop too, this was like really, really strange to me. This is like something that I noticed. So, I would be working on it so much that I'd be working on it during like work hours, which was fine because my boss was like super, but like I had two bosses and they were both like very, very cool with it. And so I would have like keycaps and stuff like sitting out and I'd be like sanding them and stuff like that in between like people coming in and like buying their vape juice, stuff like that. And people would ask and they'd be like, oh, what are you doing? And then I would explain it to them. And then it would almost be like this defensive, like, why? I'd be like, oh, I'm making keycaps. You like put them on keyboards and they'd go, why? And it's like, okay, well, like it's like, and I'd try to explain that there's this, and then there would still be this weird, like, why? And then I would have to bring up a like monetary value, like a dollar amount of like how much they're worth, and their whole perspective would change. And I think that's just like bullshit. Like they would always go like, why? And then I'd be like, well, people sell them for like $60. And they would go, oh, that's really cool. And it was like, dude, that's not like why I'm doing it though. It's like I do it because I just think it's like it's an art thing. It's cool. Like I'm hand making these. Like I like doing it. It's not because of anything else. It was really weird. And that's just coming from like a people who don't understand and don't know the whole like niche community, you know, people who are not in the loop with keycaps. There's just like customers who would come in and they would ask, but I think it's just weird in general that's like oftentimes that like you can show someone a painting and be like, it can be like this abstract painting, and some people will say like, why? And then you can tell them the value of it, and then their perspective changes and they'll go, oh wow, that's amazing. You know, I think that's kind of weird.
I understand having a deeper appreciation for the craft if you understand and know the process to make it.
Yeah.
Taking a step back, though, it confuses me for someone to have a perspective to question any reason for someone to have a creative pursuit or just any hobby.
Yeah. Yeah. And to be like honest too, is like, for me, doing keycaps and like learning how to make them and like finding this like appreciation for them and like love for them, it opened up like this door for me to like never like, I wouldn't say put down because I don't really like put anything down, but never like can't think of a different word. I don't like write it off. Don't like think you'll never be into it. Don't put it down. Yeah, just don't put it down because you don't understand it. Like if you think about it, there's right now Pokemon cards are like crazy like a crazy trend right now. Maybe not a trend. Maybe it's going to be like crazy like this forever. But people are spending like hundreds and thousands of dollars on cardboard, and I don't see a problem in it. Like you're collecting like these art and like this, like it's also art, you know. And there's plenty of different things, and because you're not directly like you don't relate to it, doesn't mean you should just like put it down. Maybe you should like try to understand it, or just give it like the respect. Just give everything like that, like respect, you know. And that is something that opened up to me. Like I stopped questioning things as much that I didn't understand really. It's just like, you know what, if they like it and it's not like harming anyone and it's just not like an issue, why make it an issue? It's just they want to do it. Like for another example is like people who like really like shoes. For a while I was like, I don't get it. Why would you spend money on shoes? But that's just something that people like to collect and see as an art as well. And now I understand that. It's something that I at one point like was very confused by, but now I'm like, you know what? I am kind of doing the same thing with tiny little pieces of plastic, you know?
See, that makes me curious. One thing, so I've talked with Wrath Caps.
Yeah.
And then Texas Destroyer. So this is fresh. Like,
yeah,
dude, I'm so grateful you're like one of my first guests, especially since you like helped me get started just with making keycaps.
Oh, I absolutely do.
But so one question I want to ask is, how would you explain or describe what an artisan keycap is to someone new in the hobby?
I've had to do it before too. I like I said, I've explained it to like a handful of people, and so the way I almost have this like when people like ask me like what I make, like I'll tell people, because like I don't like to give people specifics because it'll like sometimes there's just like more confusion than necessary. Like, oh, what do you do? And if you just say like, oh, I make artisan keycaps, people are gonna be like, okay, what? And then you'd have to explain. And I usually just say that like I'm a sculptor or like I'm an artist or whatever. And then they go, oh, what do you make? If they're interested, and then I'll explain it. And I have like this almost like copy paste that I have in my brain. And I tell them that they're little sculptures that you can put on your keyboard that are like purely cosmetic. Most people put them on just like one or two keys. Some people put them on a bunch of keys, but they're usually keys that you don't press a ton of. And yeah, there's people who buy, sell, and trade them. It's a niche community. I'm giving you like the too long didn't read, just like copy pasta right now. Yes. That's the gist of it. I kind of give them a like quick rundown, and like when you give them a rundown like that, they're like pretty interested, because like there's something about like just human nature, I feel like, that like collecting is like super cool. People like to hear about like collector stuff, and so people get pretty interested usually.
I like how you approach it from like the sculpt, because there's like sculpting and casting.
Yeah,
I guess maybe because I identify myself as like a sculptor first. I like how you say sculpting, but I also think it's funny how you have basically your checklist as like anticipating all these questions or based off all these questions, and then you're just gonna be like, no, it's going to be this, and answer before they can answer it or ask it.
After a while, you just know like what's gonna. When you start doing something like odd, you almost have this like instinct to just explain yourself, like, yes, aggressively almost. Yeah,
it's like first surface level. How interested are they? And it's like, okay, here we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you doing keycaps full time now?
I am. Yes. But that's like the craziest thing to me, is like that I'm able to do this as like my job. It still doesn't make sense, and it like blows my mind like every single day. It's crazy.
Crazy, I think, is the perfect way to put it, man. Like I dove in, I think at the beginning of last year, committing full time.
Nice.
And just the fact that we can support ourselves with the help of all of these people is insane.
Unbelievable. Like the community like truly is like, it's so crazy. They're incredible. They're like, and like, have you been to KeyCon?
I haven't.
You should absolutely. Like once they're doing it again, because of like all the COVID shit. You should absolutely go to one, because like you get to meet like everybody. You get to meet other makers, and like the first time I went, I was like, I'm a nervous person a lot of the time.
Scared.
Yeah, it was the first one I went to was in Pittsburgh, and okay. I ordered my tickets, and I was going to be in Pittsburgh for like days, fly across like the country to go to this like KeyCon thing, and I was like so scared. And then as soon as I got there, it was like the most welcoming thing. Everyone was super nice. People were like, it was just like family. Everyone was so awesome, and yeah, it was like very comfortable. I made a bunch of friends. Like it was great. And like it's really cool to see everyone that like you've talked to. It's really cool to see like collectors that have like collected your stuff. It was almost like an emotional moment for me when I saw like my work on like other people's keyboards. It was like very surreal, and it honestly still is. But like seeing it in person was like the weirdest like thing ever. It was so cool.
Oh man, I'm sold. Next KeyCon, dude.
Absolutely. It is so worth it.
Yeah, you bring up a good point. Like the most interaction I really had has been just like messaging online. But
Yeah.
it's crazy. Even still, like being able to meet these people, you still get like a really good sense of who they are. And it's like I've developed friendships with these people just keycaps.
Yeah. It brings so many people together, and that's another thing that's just like so amazing about it. Like I'm so thankful for everybody and like this like crazy little community that's just like in the corner of the. It's such a obscure thing that just brings people together. It's awesome.
It is awesome. I wanted to ask, since you mentioned that you're doing it full time now, when did you first feel that you could support yourself financially with your art and keycaps?
when I decided was probably like not smart the way I did it, but there were like a handful of, so like I said, I was working out of the back of the vape shop, and I had done a couple sales. And I was like pretty much over the vape shop. The only reason I enjoyed it was because I was working with my friends. I didn't like really anything else about it. I was so burnt out of it and everything like that I wanted to like get out of it like as soon as possible. And after the second sale, I started thinking about it, and like randomly in the one morning, I like texted my boss and I put in my 2 weeks after the second sale. It was this just weird instinct that I had. I felt like since I had this like gut feeling that I should take it, and like I usually don't have like this instinctive like I'm gonna be good at that kind of thing, and like if I do, a lot of the times like it just never happens. It was weird. I think that was what drove me the most, was like since I had such this like instinctual like I think I can do this, I went with it. And yeah, it hasn't happened since, and it never happened before. So, and another, like, just seeing other people's like designs and stuff, like really, I wanted to make something like that of my own. And I also wanted to make, this is something I tell a lot of makers too, that are getting into it, is I wanted to make something that I was happy to get. Like, if you're going to make something that you would be so stoked to get into the mail, like that you're waiting for and you're anticipating, you know? And that was a big like driving factor too, is like, I want to make something that like I would want and that I would get and be waiting and like checking my tracking, you know? And so that was another like driving factor, I guess.
It's a great piece of advice.
Yeah. That's like, I tell that to like literally anyone who's trying to get into it. Like, make something that you would be waiting like by your mailbox for.
Okay. So you mentioned this instinct, this feeling of surety, that you knew that this was something that you would be able to invest your energy and hopefully make something of.
Yeah.
Have you ever experienced something similar where you had this intuition for a design idea and then were able to realize it in the sculpt or colorway?
Yes, that happens to me. Like, I've said this on stream. On when I was streaming, like streaming was funny because like it's a great place to like sit with like a bunch of people, and then like you have an audience, but it almost doesn't really feel like an audience, and you can be yourself. And I told people like so much dumb shit, and one of the things was like one thing that happens to me that's like, it might happen to a lot of people, but like, so like as I'm falling asleep sometimes, I'll like think of something, and like it'll be like just like instant, like immediate instant like flash, and I'll be like, oh my god, I have an idea, like, and it comes like when I'm about to sleep. And then this is what I told my stream, and this is true, and it's weird. While I'm taking a shower, I'll be in the shower and I'll like close my eyes, I'll put shampoo in and stuff, and I'll like think of something for whatever reason, and I'll like, it'll be like I don't know how to even explain it. It'll be like a flash, like like a really quick, like almost like mental image, and I'll be like, oh man, that's really cool. I should do that, and I'll almost like as soon as I can just start working on it. It sometimes it happens and I'm like, that's really cool, and then I just like won't really take an approach to it. But sometimes I'll like immediately just start getting down with it. I'll either start sculpting it, I'll draw it, I'll do something just to like keep like seal the idea so I don't forget. And yeah, it happens like randomly. I don't really, I guess I don't like sit down and like really like brew up ideas, start thinking and like, doing all this stuff. I have like quick little just instances, but I occasionally I'll sit down and I'll like just start pushing clay. Like the little bat guy that I have where he's like sitting down, that was on stream, and that was like the way that happened was because when you're streaming like art stuff and you're on a schedule, you kind of just have to like, I guess, just make something. And so I just started making something. I had no idea what I was really going for. And as I was sculpting, I'm like, oh, this looks like a bat. And then I started like sculpting his head more like a bat. And I was like, okay, I'm going to make a body for it. And then I started doing the body and I'm like, oh, it looks like he's like kind of sitting. And so then I'd make him sitting and stuff like that. And that's kind of how my ideas like formulate. It's either they just pop into my head and I like immediately want to start making it, or I really don't have any direction and I just start going, and then the direction starts coming to me slowly as I'm doing it, which is like I guess a bizarre way to do it. I don't know. And another thing to like make a point too is like there's no right or wrong way to do like to like really flesh out your ideas. If you're the person who sits and like measures out every millimeter and like figures out exactly like the tools and everything you need and stuff like that to like flesh out your idea, that's not the wrong way, and my way isn't the wrong way. No one. If you're making something and you're happy with it and it's something that you want to get, you would like to like get from someone else, then it's the right idea. You're doing it. You're doing the right thing.
Everyone has their own design process.
Exactly. Yeah. And
go on.
Sorry. So yeah, another like that's like a big thing that like a lot of people would ask is like, how do you come up with your ideas, and like what tools do you use, and like stuff like that. And I almost can't give advice for that because it's like, I mean, I can show you my tools, I can give you like links to Amazon to what I use, but that's not gonna distinguish like how your idea is going to be fleshed out. You can do the entire thing with like a pencil if you wanted to, you know. It's just how you're going to do it, and that's I think what everyone should focus on when you're like trying to flesh out an idea.
I like how you mentioned that you just both more freeform design without an intention, and then also running with these flashes of insight.
Yeah.
So once you have one of these inspirations, these ideas, whether it be right before you sleep or in the shower, do you have a structured process to go forward to create a keycap, or is it different every time?
It's kind of different every time. Typically, so I'll like get the idea, and the next like maybe day or two, I'll just like start sculpting it. I'll just like immediately, because I don't want to like forget it. I don't want to like think. I almost don't want to think too much about it and start overthinking it and like trying to like change like my approach or like the idea. And I'll just immediately start going like just making it, I guess. Immediately start working on like, I guess, the final product, if that makes sense. Like I start on something that I intend to be the final product. That's a good one. So it really comes down to like when I'm like no longer enjoying making it, I guess. I mean, I still enjoy making them, but there's a point where it starts to like feel like a coloring book to me. Like for the Bub, I made Bub V1 and then I made the Bub V2. And after I made the Bub V2, I realized that I don't really like making V2s that much, because it's like, it's the same idea. And if I'm burnt out on the first one, this is just like a newer version of the thing that I'm like kind of burnt out on. And it gives me this feeling that I'm like just doing a coloring book. I'm sitting there just like filling in the mold, doing multi-shots of like the same thing. Which in the beginning, like when you're doing a new design, you have like all these ideas and you want to try out new things. But then it eventually gets to a point where I'm like, okay, I'm going to just fill in colors and then like see how it comes out. And that's when I start to realize like I want to just start something new. But I kind of have this like, I'll come back to it feeling. Like all my sculpts, even like the old ones, I still have like the molds and stuff, and I wouldn't mind like doing special sales and stuff of the old stuff, of my old sculpts, because now that it's been a certain amount of time, I can bring them back if I wanted to. I don't think it should be permanent. You know, I don't think if you don't want like to retire a design forever, which I don't think anything should be, just like extinct, I guess. You can just bring it back if you want, you know.
That makes sense. I hear you in a way bring back the idea of recognizing what inspires you.
Yeah.
Yourself as an artist, and then also trying to balance that with like other people want. Yeah, that's something. I mean, because I've been making the same sculpt, or I've been casting the same sculpt, and it's getting to that point where it feels like I'm not changing much in terms of the casting. And I think also I recognize that I have a lot to learn in terms of casting. But yeah, coloring book is a good comparison.
Yeah, like for me at least, it gets to a point where it feels like I'm just filling in color and like coming up with ideas, I guess. Which really, it also like that comes down to like motivation too. If you just keep doing the same thing over and over and over, you might lose motivation with like the creative juices, I guess. Like they might not be as like crazy as they like once were, because when you first start something and you're super excited, you want to like do all this stuff, but then when you're doing it for like multiple years and stuff, of course you're gonna feel a little bit like burnt out on it. Not everyone maybe, but it's important to kind of just do what you want with your designs, you know.
Continue creating and challenging yourself.
Yeah.
This might be a bad question.
There are no bad questions.
Okay, fair. You made it safe. I noticed like with some of your earlier designs, I'm thinking like your skid in particular, you have super sick detail. Well, and again, we'll link to pictures of these so the audience can see. And now I see all of your new sculpts too, and they're just as dope. I see you transitioning to more minimalistic, I guess, designs. What was the inspiration for these new creations?
So I've noticed that myself too. Obviously, it's like I don't know. I like kind of like switching it up and like seeing what I can do. Kind of wanted to see like different approaches that I can do. I like challenging myself, and a lot of the times it's just like I said, ideas that will like pop into my head and that I'll really, really like. I wanted specifically to make like designs that I can like have fun with like colors, which kind of contradicts the coloring book thing completely, but I wanted to make designs that like I can play with the colors rather than just like show off detail, I guess. And that's something that I wanted to do for a really long time. I remember the first con I went to, I met Ritual Master. And we talked about that. What was super cool to see, and he was like, me too. Like he makes really, really intricate like skulls and like crazy like detailed stuff. And he was like, yeah, I want to do the same thing. I was telling him that like my stuff is like really detailed, that I feel like I'm like restricted to like show off those details and do multi shots and like, but I want to do like crazy weird colors. I want to do like translucent with like, you know, I want to do all this cool stuff. And he said the same thing. He was like, that's so funny because I want to do it too. And then we like both went home from KeyCon, and I like the next sculpt that he put out was the Watcher, and I was like, he did it. He nailed it. He did exactly what like we were both talking about. Made something that you can really just like, it's like a blank canvas that you can kind of just like put your art into, you know. And my stuff isn't quite like the Watcher, like where it's like a canvas that you can just do anything with. It's kind of still like a finite like design, but it's still something that I can like just play around with ideas, and it gives me a little more freedom with color.
I've seen that in your new designs. It seems like, I guess, the new ways you're casting with the translucent, you're mixing in with different particles and highlighting, still highlighting parts of your detail, and also experimenting with the casting.
Yeah, that's something that I'm having a lot of fun with. I'm trying to find like technique, and like I see like other makers like stuff too, and I'm like, wow, I really want to apply that to like my designs, you know? But some of my designs just like can't do like the like available space, or like because of the detail I can't do it. So I like having more avenues like that I can explore to do different like techniques and stuff like that. That's I guess like the biggest reason why I have like crazy detailed stuff, and then also very like minimalistic. I also just like both. Like for example, like I like both styles of art. Like I like very minimalistic, and I like super like complicated detailed stuff. With my like collection of like toys and like figures and stuff, I have stuff that's like very polygon, simple, like very clean. Like there's one of my favorite maker or like artists, his name is Quicks, and he makes like these like robot like dudes. Yeah, and he makes they're like kind of simple but very unique and complicated, but they have like this silhouette of them being very clean and simple. And then I like kaiju like toys where they're like Godzilla monsters, and they're like crazy like tentacles and stuff like that. So it's weird. I have like clashing styles that I really, really enjoy.
I think that's tight that you can explore multiple avenues of design and continue to challenge yourself.
Yeah, that's another big thing. Is like I like the like as I learn new things, I'd like to see how I can apply them and how I can push the new techniques and ideas that I've like learned to like new levels. That's why like almost all the things that I'm doing now are encapsulations, is because I think they're badass. It's like my favorite, and I'm almost starting to like find this like new love for that style where I really like, I'm starting to think of like figures and stuff that are also in that style, that are like there are other like toy artists that do it as well, where they have like a skull or something encapsulated within like a figure. But it's something that I like am just so down with. I love that idea that I'm just going crazy with it right now.
Is the most recent design you have called the Combusta skull? Is that right?
It's the Goopy cat. So it's like the cat with the little skull.
Okay, I guess I was just looking at Keycap Archivist and
yeah.
Oh no. Oh wait, that's encapsulated too?
Yeah.
Oh snap. I guess I was thinking of the three-horn skull and cap.
No, yeah, the newest one is the Goopy. Oh, actually technically it's the Weeper.
Oh yes, the one that you just posted for 420.
Yeah. So the thing about that is I started like another side like Instagram account, and I wanted it just to be for like fun. I was gonna sculpt stuff and like just like post it on like my my website, just like a couple of them every now and then, like first come first serve kind of sales and stuff. And I did that, and people started really, really wanting them. And I felt bad because I was like, okay, well, I'm just like, these aren't going to be very accessible. I'm just going to have fun and like do whatever I want with it. But then people started wanting them, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to release it. And so now that's going to be part of like the Sludgekidd like stuff as well, is the Weeper. But aside from that one I've been doing for a little bit as well. I want to say like maybe a couple months, but like only now it's like really released. But Goopy was like the newest one before the cat.
Oh, word. Dude, I'd actually be really curious to pick your brain about figure making, because that's something that I've been thinking. Because like I said, we've largely approached keycaps like sculpting first, and I mean you probably can see it in my work where my colorways aren't as creative as many other makers.
Oh, dude, they're great. They're amazing.
I mean, I'm still practicing, but yeah, like just thinking about improving sculpting and, like you said, being able to have a wide breadth of experience and designs. Like, yeah, figure and toy making has always been really interesting to me, but I have no idea where to start with that.
Honestly, I'm still like, I'm also in that boat where I'm like, there's a lot more steps, and like to really do it the way I want would be to like design the figure, hand sculpt it and everything, and then there's like a certain like material and technique that a lot of toy makers use. It's called sofubi, and it's like a soft plastic. It's like a soft hollow plastic, and it's like a backbone of like the toy making community, I guess. But that is like not very accessible to do yourself. So you would have to like contract that out and have like someone make like a mold and stuff like that, and then actually manufacture the figures or toys. I want to do that, but I don't even know where to start. But like the best way to start is just to like do basically the same thing with keycaps, just into a figure. So what I'm doing with the ones I have now is just I sculpt them and then I mold them, and I kind of mold them not in the best technique. I just do whatever like works, and then from there I just do whatever I want. I'll paint them, I'll multi-shot them if I can, or if I feel like it. It's really just about getting into it and like making, I guess. I just do them out of resin. I make them out of like the same resin that I'm using with my keycaps. But like I said, I would really, really like to take like I guess a more official approach. But I have an idea of how to do it.
Sounds like you're close, man.
Yeah, it just takes knowing people, I guess. I need to figure out. So they call them factories, like where to get them made, but it's not ideal. It's not typically like what you would imagine a factory is. It's not like this like mass produced like automated system. It'll be like a couple guys, I guess, and they'll like make your molds, and they're still like handmade, but they're like kind of mass produced handmade.
Like they still require assembly or
yeah. So touch. It's like the way they do it is they have like these metal like casts, like molds, and then they pour the like liquid like melted I think it's like vinyl, and then they like slosh it around into the mold, and then they dip it in water, and there's this whole process, and then they pull it out while it's still hot, so it's soft and it can come out of the metal mold. And then when it hardens up, it's still pretty soft, and then usually they're like a 2 or 3 piece design where it's like articulated, so like arms and like head can move, and then they can just like kind of push it together because it's still kind of soft.
Oh, word.
And so that's kind of the vision I have for some of my designs, but I don't know which direction to really look for that. It's kind of, there's so many different ways to do it. And there's, like I said, there's no wrong way. It's just, you kind of just got to do it. And I'm like not extremely motivated to go figure it all out right now, but I'm also nervous because like it's a lot of like figuring out and talking to people and throwing your ideas around.
It sounds like a whole new project.
Yeah, yeah. It's something that I'd love to do.
I mean, that's like, it almost speaks to what what you said your childhood dream was.
Yeah, yeah.
Recognizing keycaps already is like pretty dope. Oh,
yeah,
it's super dope. Yeah.
Yeah. Eventually I'll probably like take the leap and just like, I guess, do it. But I also want to have a design that I am like, I know is the one. Typically I'm pretty like happy with my designs, but when it comes down to like having something like made on a bigger scale, I really want it to be like something that I have like a gut feeling that is the one that it should like be, I guess.
Is iconic to represent you as a companion
Yes.
is to KAWS
Yeah.
or something.
Yes, exactly. That is like the perfect way to put it. I like to be my like mascot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dude, I have complete faith that you'll get. Dude, I'm so curious to see what you're working on, man. That's exciting.
Yeah, I have like a handful of things like currently, but nothing that's like super fleshed out. I'm like working on another cap right now that I have an idea for. It's almost like a V2, but I don't want to consider it a V2 of the combusted skull. I think I'm still going to do the combusted skull, but I have like another idea that I like thought up super like, fast again. Like, it was like a flash, and I think it'll be pretty cool. So I'm going to, it should be almost done. It should be almost done.
Oh, wow. I mean, just hearing you speak about how you've already put this thought and the process for creating these scopes for your figures, man, you're on your way.
I appreciate that. Like, I looked into it. So when I went to another KeyCon, and it was in New York, and it was really, really weird. During the same week, there was 5 Points Fest, which is the like one of the biggest like toy, like designer toy conventions, and like it was like tattoos and street art. It was like,
that's hype.
Like my haven. It was like in New York that weekend was like everything I live for. It was like right there. So I got tickets to that as well. And I went, and a lot of keycap makers, when I went with Glenn and we went and checked it out and stuff like that, it was super cool. And I went and I talked to like a bunch of like toy makers that I was like really, I have like a lot of their work and stuff, but it was like far more intimidating than I had imagined. Like I was nervous. It was like I don't know. It was like all these really like developed names, stuff like that, and it was like a little bit intimidating to like see all of this stuff just like fully fleshed out, and I had no idea who to talk to. And it was cool. I went and talked to like one guy that I'm a fan of his art. His name's Wonder Goblin. And he makes these like crazy like Cthulhu things and stuff like that. And he's a really eccentric, like cool guy. And he was super nice, and he like actually pointed me in a direction of someone who would like make them. But it's like still difficult to like get into because there's like waiting lists on like when you can get stuff made, and like it can take like 6 months for your idea to be fleshed out. And I'm very into like instant gratification when it comes to making things. So it's like I want to find somewhere that'll make it like quickly for me, and it's like the one. Everything needs to be perfect, but that's just like not a really great way to think. I guess I should just start like rolling with it rather than thinking it's all gonna happen at once. You know? But it's hard to change. It's hard to change mindsets that are like that. Like it's same when it comes to keycaps too. Like you can have something fleshed out, and then you just like go and you pour your resin into the mold, and you're done. Like you made a cap, and that's like I right before my eyes. And when I found out that like the resin cures in like not that much time, I was all in. I was like, wow, I can have this done. Like that's crazy.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's the process for making the toy sounds like freaking key set group buys, man.
Yeah.
Which I guess if you're manufacturing at a certain scale with these companies, it probably is exactly the same.
Yeah. I would imagine so. That's something that I would love to eventually do too. I have like ideas for key sets, but that's also so intimidating to me. I feel like that's like such a like a big like business decision. Yes, because you're sitting there and you're like coming up with like this idea that's going to be like potentially like a way bigger scale than what I've like been doing. So it's like I'm going to have to deal with like a lot more on my shoulders all at once. And that makes me nervous a lot of the time. Like, I don't know if I'm ready, but yeah, I don't know.
Have you spoken to anyone who's made a key set?
Yeah, I've talked to a few of them, but I've never really like tried to do my own. I've given them like the interest. I was like, I would love to do it, but that's as far as I've gotten. I've never really like went more than that. I feel like if I've like talked to someone like someone who's done it before, I'm sure they would like help me out. Like the whole community is really great, and they're willing to share. What's like scary to me is just like this scale. Like I hear of some of these like group buys and stuff like that have like thousands of people like entering for like these key sets, and then not only just the scale of like production and how much it's like that's potentially like a lot of money that's going to be like in my hands, and if something goes wrong, that freaks me out. You know, it's like, and that it's happened before. There's people who like the whole thing goes through, they make the key set, and then like I think they get way more flack than necessary, but like a color will come out like not how the renders look, and then people get up in arms about it and get like upset, which like I understand. You paid good money for like something that you thought was going to be a specific color, but it didn't come out perfect. And I don't know if I'm ready for that. Like, I don't know if I'm ready for something to go wrong. But that's just the cautious side of me. Sometimes you got to take risks. You know?
I mean, it is a huge liability.
Yeah.
How long have you been in Vegas for?
2 years. Two and a half. Yeah, 2.5 years.
You find that moving away and I guess do you find that you have more time to focus on be it keycaps, figures, or any other project, or has that been being out there in Vegas now?
Yeah, I feel like I have like more freedom. When I was living in California, I was living with my parents in an apartment too, so it was like kind of difficult for like the whole like all my gear and stuff, like the whole keycap like process. I didn't have enough, like a lot of I had room, but not a ton. And this like allows me to have more room, but it is kind of like I don't have like the ideal setup. Like I have it set up like in a corner of the living room, and as you know, like casting stuff is like messy and it doesn't look nice. It's not pretty. I mean, some people can make it look really nice, but the way I work, I'm like a maniac, and so with resin, you're always on a time restraint, like regardless. So I'm doing stuff pretty fast, and I'm like leaving stuff out. And so we have this like just hideous like corner of like my work area, and like my pressure pots at the bottom covered in like slime and stuff. It's like it's horrible. Ideally I would like to like have my own place, and then I can have that tucked in like a room or something, and like not have it like burden other people. But the cool thing is, my roommate, when I moved out here, he got interested in making keycaps as well. His name's Frumpskis now, and he makes keycaps. He makes keycaps now, and he's doing it also full time as well. Yeah, and I taught him how to do everything, and he bought all the stuff and started doing it. So now, now both of us do it, and so he understands. He understands that like there's just gonna be this like giant slimy corner of the of the living room.
That's hella funny you should mention in the living room, dude. When I first was experimenting with keycaps, I think this was probably like 2018, 2019, or like whenever I hit you up. I was living at home with my mom and doing it in my bedroom.
Yeah,
and, like, not ideal.
No, yeah, that's how I did it too. That's how I start. Like once I like moved out of the vape shop, once I like quit my job, I had all my stuff in my room, and I had a small room, and that like it took like a pretty big mental toll on me too, because like I would have like all of my work stuff just like crammed in a tiny little room, and I did not have enough room for like all of it. So it was like and my streaming stuff. So I had like just all this stuff in my room, and I would like lay down and go to sleep looking at like all the stuff I would have to do, or like all the stuff that isn't finished, and like my streaming stuff, and how like I wanted to stream more, but I was like not feeling it, and like it was rough. And now I'm like I know people have said this before, that like it's not good to have, it's good to separate like your like comfortable like living area from your work area. And I think that's pretty important now. For me, I mean, it's in the living room, but like typically where I'm hanging out is in my room. I play video games and stuff like that. So it's not just looking me in the face constantly.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I think that's pretty important for like a lot of like almost any type of like work. If it's something that you're doing as like your main thing, I think it's good to like separate it and make sure that you have a comfortable place.
This is a pretty specific question.
Yeah.
Since you've made that space and made the change, have you noticed you've had more of your inspiration or insights?
Not really that much. Honestly, when I was living with my parents, my mom, like I said, and my dad, they're both super supportive of it, and they would be so stoked. Like they loved like seeing like the stuff that I would make, and it was cool. It was like it felt. I mean, it feels great when your like parents are like stoked on like something that you've made. And they're like proud of it. So it was like really, really nice. And now I send them pictures and stuff and show them. So it's still cool, but it's not the same as like them seeing it like come to life. But I think if I had my own place, I was like living like either alone or like I had more room to myself, I think that would actually help more. That would make me more motivated. It would make me want to explore different avenues, because I feel like when I have this space that I'm like sharing with other people, I want to be respectful. I don't want to like I don't want to sit downstairs all day and like make a giant statue of something or whatever. Like maybe I'll be, once I have more room and stuff, I'll be able to explore making like bigger things or like crazier stuff. I have no idea, but I feel like if I had more room to myself, I would more adventurous, I guess.
I hear you. And now I mentioned I'm in San Leandro, and it's like taking up half, like a quarter of the garage. And
yeah,
I hear that. It's like sometimes I feel like I'm imposing. And
yeah,
having that space would be different.
Yeah, it is nice. It like once I moved out, I had like more room. I definitely had more room, and like I said, it wasn't looking me in the every single day. So that helped me like feel more positive about like doing like when you go to sleep and you're looking at like unpacked like packages and stuff like that, it doesn't feel good. But when you have that separation, it makes you not resent things.
Yes. That makes sense. Like just your overall feeling of how you're approaching your art.
Yeah.
One thing I've noticed is the recent growth in both the artisan community and the people who support artisans and mechanical keyboards.
Oh yeah.
I was curious, how do you see yourself in relation to like other makers or your fans and followers with this new growth?
I think everybody like has like is gonna have like a different growth dependent on like how they approach their community, I guess, because within each like artisan there is going to be a community there as well. So like there's going to be collectors that only collect certain stuff. There's going to be collectors that like for instance just like cute things, and some people that like creepy things, you know? And I think growth is going to vary between everyone just because of like different preferences. And I think it's important not to like be too worried about other people's growth and like comparing, yours to others, because if you do that, like, I mean, we've all been there. Like, we've all been like, oh man, this has this many followers, and like, that's crazy. I really hope like one day, I think it's just good to, because if you focus on that too much, you're gonna get lost. I feel like not in like necessarily a bad way, but it could motivate you to like work harder. But I think it's important to always focus on like the art itself. And if you have like a support and a following and people who support it, you're not doing the wrong, and if you're not getting like the amount of like followers or like growth that you'd like, you shouldn't blame yourself, and you shouldn't blame like other people, I guess. Like another thing that I had trouble in the beginning with is like I would get like anxious a lot about like missing out, I guess. Like missing out on like growth and being able to like, oh, I'm missing Reddit followers, or like, oh, I'm missing. You're not going to be able to get to like every single person. And there's so many like just like bullshit algorithms and stuff like that are just gonna make everything like weird anyway. That just focusing on the art, and if you do something and it's gonna like come out well and people are supporting it, that's the most important.
I like that. Focus on the art.
Yeah.
Right. It's so easy to compare Instagram followers.
Yeah. It's incredibly easy. And I still like, I'm not going to lie, I still like go and look at other people just to see like what's up. I still go and I'll like check out like other makers and see like how they're doing. Because so like there's a lot of people who like started around when I did, and I want to see like how well they're doing. I want to see how many followers they got. And I mean, it's not like a toxic thing unless you make it toxic. Unless you're like, I need to beat him. There's I don't think there's any there's no like beating one or another person when it comes to like making something. There's just, it's the reason why the numbers are different are because people's preferences, and art is always going to be subjective. So you're not going to be able to compare your art to someone else. Like I said, it all comes to like the person who's consuming the art.
There's no first place gold medal for Artisans Award.
Yeah. Well, there are on Reddit and stuff, and like in Discord, there's like best artisan of the year, but I have like,
oh shit,
I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't.
Well intentioned.
Yeah. It's like it's not like a bad thing. It's not toxic. It's just like, I don't know. Everyone makes different things, and like there is no best unless I guess people vote on it.
I guess it's like the Grammys or like the Emmys, right?
Yeah.
It's a reason to celebrate the art, and it just has different repercussion or different effects.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm curious about, so now it's kind of, we're talking about social media. I noticed it looked, I may be completely wrong, but it looked like you curated your Instagram profile to be super clean.
Yes. Yeah. So I was like looking at it like a while ago, and I was looking like, this is pretty incoherent. Like, and I did compare it. I looked at other people's stuff, and I was like, wow, I really like how like other people's looked when it looked a specific way. When you like click on their account and it just shows like keycaps, like, and it's just like all the same, like when you're scrolling, it like feels like you're looking at one coherent, like almost piece of art. I like that. I like that a lot. So I decided like, I'm going to go delete like all the pictures that I'm like not super happy with. And I'm going to keep stuff that I'm like, that I enjoy and that I like to look at and that I think look cool. And yeah, while doing like the product pictures, I realized that I like actually really, really like photography too. It's fun. So I decided like, I kind of decide what pictures are good enough to be on there. And I find that kind of fun to do as well.
It definitely shows. Like your photography looks like it's leveled up for sure.
Yeah. Like when you first like start too, it's like honestly, even now, like keycaps are a pain in the butt to take pictures of. They're so because they're so small and like there are so many factors that can just like you can take a picture and make a keycap look like crap when it looks really good. And you can take a picture of like a keycap that looks really good and make it look like crap. It's really hard. Yeah. And like one of the biggest issues I have that's like really annoying is so like most of my designs right now are like clear, translucent. And taking pictures of translucent caps is kind of difficult because like there's glare and like I can take a picture of one and it'll like not look good at all. So I have to take pictures and pictures and pictures until I find like the right angle and stuff like that and like get a good one. And I find like enjoyment in like getting the picture. Like I feel like it's really fun for me.
What types of equipment do you use to help you take your photos?
Currently I just have a mirrorless camera. What is it? A6000 Sony. And I bought like a really honestly a cheap lens on Amazon. And I don't even know what it's called. It was like a cheap, like I want to say $30 lens. And then I was asking like my photography like buddies. I think I just like who. Oh, it's one of my buddies that I knew from high school that was like a photography guy. And I asked him how I could get macro shots better because I was having trouble getting like good close-ups.
Yeah.
And he told me just to get like, because you can get a macro lens, but macro lenses are like $600 or something. But you can get the same effect with like a lens like spacer. I don't remember what it's called, but it's like another tube that you add to your lens that makes it a little bit longer. And you can get really close-up shots. And it's not quite as good as like a macro lens, but it does the job. And that's what I'm using right now. And maybe like eventually I'll get a macro lens so I can get like really like correct photos, I guess, of it. But yeah, that's all I'm really using right now. It's just that camera and like a cheap lens, to be honest. And also those like spacers are like, I think I got it for $10 and you get like 3 different ones. So I spent like on the lens, I spent like 40, it was like $30 for the lens and then $10 for the spacer. Instead of 600 for a macro lens.
Wait, I was gonna say, yeah, typically the lenses are really expensive.
Yeah, it was like this, and it's not a bad lens, which is cool. Like I showed it to my friend and he was like, to be honest, that's like perfect for what you're trying to do. And like a lot of like photographers will kind of like get something like that as like a beater lens, like that you're not too worried about. Because like some of those lenses are like double or triple the price of like a camera. So you got to be super careful and stuff like that.
Would you mind sending me the links or names of them? Just to share with people? Because that was one thing that I still have trouble with taking photos, and it's crazy. One thing about this is, to a certain degree, with new hands, you're selling photos.
Yeah,
and that. Or we're not selling photos. The photos have a huge impact on
how. Yeah. That's what I was gonna say. Like when I was looking at my Instagram and I saw like pictures that I was like not necessarily proud of. I was like, that just looks like I don't know. I just like took like one picture and that was it. In the beginning, I was taking all the pictures with my phone, so I deleted all the pictures with my phone. And like a lot of when I first started, I was just like taking. When I looked at them, I'm like, that doesn't look like a photograph. That looks like a picture. That just looks like I just snapped it and like threw it up. But yeah, but then like when it comes down to when I first started, it would take me still a long time to get that picture, but I wasn't happy with it. Like taking pictures of caps is such like, it sounds so easy until you're doing it. And like I sit there and then I have like 100 pictures of like the same cap and I don't like any of them, right?
Dude, I feel that. This is inspiring. I actually could, like, the way I was thinking about it was my Instagram was purely for me, and that it was a timeline of my journey. But I mean, at the same time, it's as a business.
Yeah, that's
face.
I still wanted to have that like kind of feeling to it too. I thought of the same thing, but when it came down to it, I was like, I wasn't happy with it. I wanted it to look like. I wanted it to look pretty, you know. That was what it came down to.
You can think of dozens of photos on my whatever right now that
I'm looking at it right now, and yours are sick too. Your pictures are dope.
Just don't scroll. If you scroll down far enough, then you'll see the ones I'm thinking of.
that like mine was like exactly the same. I think that's cool though. I think it's cool to have like the evolution. I think people appreciate that a lot as well. And
the dirt.
Yeah, even. I still kind of wish I like kept some of the stuff, but I don't know. It just comes down to preference, really.
I mean, yeah, I just don't scroll that far.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, social media is just a whole nother game. Like,
it is. You almost have to like learn how to like manipulate the like platform to work in your favor, you know. It's like it's weird. You have to like learn the hashtags, all this like garbage bullshit stuff, and it's like just necessary. And then even then sometimes I'll post and it feels like it's not working in my favor whatsoever. Like I'll post something and I'm like, wow, this is like, I feel like this is a great picture, this is like, I'm proud of the like colorway and this and that, and then it just like I feel like doesn't get the reach that it like other ones got, you know. And it's weird. And like people know more like intricate ways to like manipulate it, but so weird. I'm just not that interested in learning like all the intricacies of Instagram, but I almost find it like super important. I don't know, I'm just doing it my way still.
I think you said it perfectly. It's like, it's necessary, it's weird, and at the same time, it detracts from what you really want to be doing.
Yeah. Like, I don't want to sit down and like figure out like the correct hashtags and then post a story that's covering like the picture. That's like, have you seen that before?
Oh.
Like, people will post a story and then it'll have the picture that they posted on their like feed, on their actual page, but they'll like cover the picture with like a sticker or something. They'll like cover it and they'll say like, new post, check it out, so that like people can like see like the picture but not get the full picture.
Just like, they have clickbait.
Yeah, it's like a clickbait, and like I see that a lot, and I wonder how well that works. I might try it eventually, but like I feel like that would also annoy people, you know? I feel like then people feel like, oh, he's just like manipulating the whole thing, you know? Because like I see it often. I don't see it necessarily like that much with keycap stuff, but I see it with like a lot of other things where it will be like, I see it like I'm into BMX and stuff. Like I have a BMX bike, and I'll see like BMX riders where they'll like you'll see like half the picture and they're like going like off like a 10 stair or something, but then like half the picture is just like covered, and they're like, new post, check it out. Yeah, it's weird.
I can see how that would work. I feel like if you did that, that might be engaging.
Yeah, it might pop off with keycaps, because then you can like show part of the keycap and people will be like, oh shit, what is that? And then they'll click on it. But like, I almost feel like bad. It's like, I don't know. It's like
evil.
No, it's not. It's really not. It's really not. But like, I just know how people react, how people overreact to like people trying to manipulate like an audience, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And like, even with YouTube has like all these clickbait things, and now clickbait has like that like bad stigma to it. You know, I was like, oh, that was clickbait. And it's almost the same thing, but like it's not hurting anybody. It's just a way to manipulate like an audience.
Makes me think of in Pokemon before commercial breaks, they would have the "Where's that Pokemon?"
Yeah, exactly.
I think I remember.
Oh my god, that would be,
dude.
That's a good idea. You get like Photoshop like a whole like thing with like a new sculpt, and then just have it blacked out and be like,
I better see this. I better see this on your feed, bro.
Yeah, no, you should do it, dude. That's so sick.
I remember seeing. I think it's Hello Caps do that for one.
I think he might have done that, right? Yeah.
Even for a story, I mean, that would be engaging for sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's another thing that I think. I think like comments as well kind of boost stuff, because like now like the way Instagram works, it doesn't show stuff chronologically to like when it was posted. It's kind of weird. It'll show stuff like out of order depending on like activity, I believe. And I see other artists. There's this guy that I follow, I think his name is Curry Goat. He makes like rugs and stuff. He makes like rugs and like cool shirts and stuff like that. And he'll post stories that I find like really interesting, where he'll like ask like questions like, do you like this or that? And like he like asks like opinions on like a bunch of random stuff. And I almost like believe that it's like a way to manipulate like activity on his account. So people are like doing like the voting thing, you know, on Instagram, where you can like do. And so since people are interacting with that, it might be like boosting his account to be shown more because of the activity. And I like almost want to try that, but I know like people might be negative to that as well. It's this weird balance where I like want to try stuff, but I also don't want to like feel like I'm not selling out, you know. I think sellout is such a like
strong. Yeah.
It's like just you're testing stuff, you know, you're trying to improve your business model and stuff like that. I don't know. It's such a like a thin ice to me, I feel.
Might be guilty of preaching to the choir is also being full-time. You have to be able to support yourself too. And this is recognizing how amazing it is for prison keycap makers to be able to have this community. At the same time, it's about sharing your art and being able to continue to create.
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe I'll start asking irrelevant questions, see if I get more reach.
The 1 day a week I'm on Instagram, if I see it, I'll hit them.
Yeah. I've seen it not only on that guy's account too. I've seen it like I follow car stuff too. I like car stuff, and I see a lot of the car people do that, but they'll like post 2 different pictures of like modified cars, and they'll be like, which one do you like more, top or bottom? And like I see, and then they'll post like 10 story things in a row of that, and you like vote on which car you like more by like how it looks. And I see multiple accounts do that. So I feel like that might be a strat, but I have no idea.
I mean, if you think about it from Instagram as a business model, you want to reward those people who are more active. You want to reward those people who are getting more engaged.
It makes sense. It completely makes sense. Yeah.
You're definitely onto something there.
Yeah. You have to look at oftentimes I'll look at like other business, like the way people like do other business stuff that is completely irrelevant to mine, to kind of understand more how to like run a business, I guess, you know? Yeah. Like if you look at it from a different perspective, it like helps you realize like a lot. And looking at it from like the perspective of Instagram itself, like how would you want stuff to work, you know?
That was one thing that was super intriguing to me about getting into keycaps. It was the intersection of art and business. Yeah. It's like, I can create things and practice sculpting or these colorways while also being able to make a living off of that.
Yeah.
You mentioned that you hadn't really sold any of your RP4 keycaps, and thinking about business experience, how have you learned to approach it from a business minded aspect?
I learned to be careful. uh so it was weird. So like I was the reason I decided to quit the vape shop was because in like a single sale, I made more money than like a month of working at the vape shop. So like at that point I was like, this could potentially be worth it, but like at the same time there's so much that I have to like keep like tabs on and be careful with. So it was like this completely new experience that I knew I had to be careful. And that's what, like, if anyone's starting, you have to like be wary. You know, you can't all in anything. You can't go too hard and expect like crazy rewards like immediately. Like I experienced that, and that was kind of like dangerous almost. Like if you start something new and you're immediately rewarded, you are given this like gift, you know, and you have to be very careful with it. And I had to be very cautious, you know, and I learned as time went on to be more and more careful, especially with taxes. Especially with the taxes. Like I Binge, when he talked to me the first time, brought that up immediately. That was like one of the things he like brought up was like, you're gonna have to pay taxes on this. And so that really, like, when it happened the first time, it like really like made me realize, I was like, okay, this isn't just like pop off like and go crazy. Like the first year I was like, oh man, this is crazy. Like I'm like, I could quit my job. Like this is so sick. And I was like, you know, I was in this like mindset that I was like, you know, popping off, you know, and it's good to be proud of yourself and it's good to feel that. And, you know, can't let it get to your head, obviously, as well. That's like you have to be healthy about it. Can't be arrogant. You can't do anything like that if you're like successful, you know, with anything. You have to be careful, and learning how to run a business and not like mess it up is super valuable. And I'm glad that I've learned so much while doing it. And I still have steps to take and to learn to continue like evolving my business. There's still so many steps that I have to take that I know I have to, and I'm just like putting off like an idiot. I'm still making mistakes, but it's just, it comes with the whole process.
Definitely. As a single person business, there's a lot to learn.
A big part of like my process is like, I love eliminating any issue. Like no matter what the size of the issue is, it starts annoying you no matter what. Cause like the whole part of like casting is you're doing the same thing over and over and over and over. And if there's one little annoyance in there, it's going to annoy you over and over and over and over. So if you eliminate it, it relieves so much. And I like every time I get rid of something, it is such a great feeling. So now I'm just trying to find like every possible thing. At this point, I don't care if I have to spend like money on it. I just want every issue to be as like eliminated as possible. That's why I bought so many different mold systems, because so many of them have had like tiny little issues that like annoy me. One very nitpicky thing about mold systems right now that I want someone to fix is the actual mold boxes that people make. So they'll have like a 2x2 or whatever. They'll be 3D printed, and they'll have like the 3D printing lines on them. on the side. So that has nothing to do with the inside of the mold or anything, but it's on the side. So when I make my caps and the overflow of the resin goes onto the sides, gets onto that like texture, and then when it comes off, it turns into this like hair, not hair. They're like strands of resin. Yeah.
And it gets in the mold.
Yes, it gets in the molds. It gets everywhere. I have to use my air blaster to blow them out and stuff. It's so annoying. Point. And I already know like a way to fix it and combat that is like either like some kind of aluminum like mold box that someone will like make, or like acrylic or something like that, and it would just be perfectly smooth, and that would be the dream.
That would be game changing.
Yeah, that would be amazing. And like that's just like one nitpicky thing, and it's like it's not the end of the world, but when it's annoying you every single time you're making caps, it would be so nice. It gets everywhere and it like gets into the molds, and then sometimes I won't even notice it because it'll be clear or like really small, and then my caps are clear, so then I'll like pull the cap out, and then I'll see like a strand just like in it, and I'm like, I should just like talk to like, I don't even want to like manufacture or sell that. Like I want someone to make them so I can buy them.
I've seen some video of like a DIY YouTuber who doesn't specialize in keycaps, but made keycaps and used like plastic sheets or like plastic panes and made
it. There's also the Legos. You can do Legos and it's not as bad, but the thing about Legos is like I have to build those damn things, and it's kind of a pain in the ass.
It's harder to scale.
And like when you say this to like anyone, like they're like, "Well, it's not a big deal," and you're like, after you do it like a couple hundred times,
tell me in a year.
It becomes
yeah. Dude, that's a good point. That's
like
one thing
my roommate
reflected on. Go on.
My roommate, like I used to complain about like so many little things. He was like, "Well, it doesn't like. I mean, that's not a big deal." And now he was like, "Dude, I fucking hate this." Like you were right.
It all adds up, man.
Yeah, it really does. One of the first things that I did, like right off the bat, because I knew it was going to be a good idea, was to get a label. Because I knew cutting paper, and then taping it and doing all that is going to take. If you don't have one, it is a really, really nice.
It's all funny. I just got one this week.
Oh, dude, nice! Oh, yeah.
It's so engaged. How the hell was I? It's like, I was cutting everything. Oh my god! I spent so much time. Oh my god!
Yeah, that was like one of the first things. It's like I know I'm gonna hate that. I'm gonna hate it so much. But I mean, like almost everyone starts with just like a normal, which makes sense. Like those little guys are expensive.
$200,
yeah, they're like damn expensive for what it is.
Yeah, then when I started out, I was thinking like, how do I cut costs? It's like, I can buy 1,000 sheets of sticker or whatever, and then print them. But dude, that would have saved so much headache. Actually, one thing I'm really curious to ask about is kind of looking back to when you first started in keycaps. Did you have any certain expectations or goals when you were getting started?
Kind of, yes. So since it sounds like kind of, I guess, like arrogant, but since I had like this like kind of just gut feeling that I was gonna be pretty good at it, I had a feeling that I was like gonna be able to just like have a pretty decent interest in it. Like other people are gonna be pretty interested in what I had to make, and that also like kind of came along with like my like whole life in like high school and school and stuff like that. I would always be drawing. I wasn't like super good in school because I had a lot of issues like focusing on shit, and I would always be drawing. I had probably more drawings in all of my notebooks than I had notes, and my friends would always tell me like, "Oh, that's so sick! Like you should sell, you should do art and stuff like that." So I kind of had like a feeling, but I guess I didn't have like an expectation. I I'm like I'm too careful of a person to like have my hopes be like, I'm gonna make these and I'm gonna make a living off of it, or like, oh, these are gonna be, I'm gonna quit my job because of this, you know. I kind of knew that like I was gonna be able to make something good, but I didn't have like the expectation for people to just like buy them, you know? I didn't have the expectation to just have people like support my art like fully, you know. And once it did start happening, it felt really weird, but I felt a lot more comfortable with the idea that like, yeah, I actually can do this, and I'm actually making something that people like.
It's getting that confirmation just to reaffirm what you had already believed in yourself.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Also, in the spirit of reflection, what advice would you give yourself when you were first starting out in making?
That's a question. I like that question. Even now, as like I said before, I'm like a nervous person, but like, don't be that nervous to do something, and don't do stuff only to cater to. That's a huge one. Don't do things only because it's what like is supposed to be the thing that happens. You don't have to do that. And I learned that like maybe a year and a half in when I was streaming. And when I was streaming, I had, like I said, a schedule, and I was doing like an art stream. So it was like a creative stream, and they have like a section in Twitch that's for like people who make like just, or for like artists and stuff. And I had everything on a schedule, and I realized that your art, like art in general, is really hard to put on a schedule. If you aren't feeling it, and you're not motivated, and you're not feeling like inspired or anything, and you have to turn on a stream and sit there and then force art, it feels really bad. But it felt like that was like, I had to do it. I had like, and my stream at the time, like for how quickly I started the stream, was successful. It was doing well. And I felt like I had to doing it because it was doing well. There are plenty of people out there who like want to stream and like have like viewers and stuff. And I was just like, I'm not enjoying this. I'm putting like my whole artwork thing on a schedule. And there are people that I feel like if I'm not going to work on, like not do the schedule, I'm like letting them down. And I feel like all this like weight on my shoulders of like the streaming thing. And at that point I was like, I don't have to do things that I like don't want to do that are specific like that. Like I don't have to cater to other people because I feel like it's like what I have to do. Sometimes you have to do things because it's what you want. And streaming taught me that like in a big way, because the only reason I kept streaming for a while was because it was successful, and I felt guilty having this like thing that people like would have been very happy to have with a stream, and me not wanting it. I didn't want it anymore. It felt like too much of a burden because of like the negativity that it brought me. And another thing that like felt bad about it was like I felt negative about it when there was all these people that loved it. That there was a lot of people that really liked the stream, and I was like, I'm putting up like a fake front almost, where I'm like, hey guys, like today I'm gonna be making this like whatever, and then I'd be sitting there just like in my head like forcing a sculpt. And it felt really bad. And then I stopped. And you know what? This is like the first time I really like had talked about it like this. And it's the first time I've really put it into words correctly to why I didn't like it. I typically when I'm like talking to people, I have trouble coming up with like the correct way to say it. But that was exactly it. That is exactly the reason why I stopped.
Oh, Nick, thank you for sharing that. And that
Absolutely.
really resonates with me right now. Like, I feel that's exactly how I feel. It's like keycaps I've recognized. And again, I'm not like killing it, but I've been getting this feedback, and I'm very much like trying to balance like, oh, what do I want to do with creating, and then like how do I still be sustainable? And it's at times it's not like, it's like I'm not as excited to like go and cast as I was like when I was in the beginning.
Yeah.
It's like,
and that's natural too. And you have to just like, again, it's come up multiple times, is balance. Is you have to just, you can't put a schedule on not motivation, on inspiration. You can't put a schedule on inspiration, because that isn't something that you could just turn on and be like, okay, I'm going to make a work of art today. That is, I would say, probably impossible, but I don't know, there might be someone who can do it. But not everyone can do that. And I think it's really hard to be something, to do something like that. I did it time and time again on the stream, where I was just like, even I would do streams where I would just cast. I would like make caps. And sometimes I just like didn't even like want it. I wanted to cast, but I just didn't want to do it on stream.
That really resonates with me, man.
I'm glad I can like, people can relate to, like, that you can relate to, and it makes me feel better, because other people, like, a lot of the times I'm like, am I feels like this? Like I feel guilty that I'm feeling something negative to something that's so positive.
I think when you speak about the guilt, like that's definitely something I can 100% relate to it.
I actually saw it through like another artist's like Instagram post. They like posted in their story, and they're like, yeah, like this is, you're not alone. This is like a lot of artists. It's very, very natural to feel. I kind of brought it up. They said, oh, it's imposter syndrome, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, imposter? I don't know.
I know I'm making keycaps. Like I know.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what that like really entails. But then when I like looked into it, I was like, well, if that ain't me, holy shit, like that's like spot on. And as time goes, I don't think it hasn't gone away for me, but it alleviates. It doesn't like feel, you don't feel like you're doing something bad. You just still feel like it almost shouldn't be happening, kind of thing. It's like, this is unreal. This is like really a weird feeling that I'm doing something that I like didn't think would work, like would become what it is. And I think that just happens with like really anyone.
That's fair. Maybe, yeah, especially being keycaps in such a unique space.
Yeah.
And the fact that it's like you're trying to make a living too. And that hits me.
I'm really glad that helped you, because like that fucking sucked for me for a long time. I was like, that streaming was like the big thing for me, where like all of this kind of like happened. Like the imposter syndrome was like a big thing for like the when I was streaming. I was like, there are so many people out there that like their dream is to become a streamer. I wasn't killing it. I wasn't like making like crazy money on stream, but like I wasn't getting like crazy viewership or like anything like that. But for how I started, I was doing well, and there was growth, and I potentially, if I pursued it, it could have been really solid. Yeah. But it was just not. It was not for me, and that made me feel really shitty, because of like the amount of people that would have done anything to be in that position. And but that's okay. That's like part of life. Like there's things like that everywhere.
I mean, when you say that you challenged with the scheduling aspect, like I very much feel that now, where I've been really trying to structure my creating. Like I said, once my friend challenged me with this weekly drops, which is great, right? Yeah. It's like great motivation, but I've been feeling recently like I just need to change it or like take a step back or like.
Yeah. And taking breaks isn't a waste of time as well. Like taking a break and then coming back, sometimes you pop off so hard. Like there are times where I'll like, I still sometimes force like making stuff. I'll like sit there and I'll be like, all right, I haven't done a sale in a while. Like I should really do a sale. And then I'll like just make caps, but then I'll like make a bunch of them and I'll be like, I'm not like crazy about any of them.
Mm-hmm.
I'll do that sale and then I'll sit on it and I'll wait a little bit and then I'll come back and then I'll like be in the zone and then I'll just like make stuff. Like every cap I'm pulling is like Christmas. I'm like opening a present and being like, holy shit, that one's so sick. Another one. And I like keep going. And there's ebb and flow with all of that. And then sometimes you just have to take a break to get that sick like pop off again. You can't always pop off. You can't always just continuously like pull out like masterpieces, you know?
And it's so relevant. Since we kind of spent that time looking back, I was wondering, looking towards the future, I mean, you've been doing a lot, creating your new sculpts, your new colorways, and you mentioned you have these other projects too. What are you excited about looking forward?
I'm excited to see how like my like new stuff is gonna flesh out. I'm excited to try like the new things that I'm kind of like scared of. Like even if I like fail, there's really almost no downside. Like especially like if you're making art and like you have like the support and then you make something that like doesn't work out, you can either just like not ever like release it, or if you release it and it just doesn't do well or whatever, it's not the end of the world because you already have a support, you have like a following and stuff. So like it's okay. So I think I'm excited to just like try new things that I worried about doing for people to be like stoked on, I guess. A big part of it is I'm excited to like do figures, even though like most of my following I feel like is only interested in keycaps, and not only interested, but like mostly interested in keycaps. Yeah, I'm excited to push my limit and see where that takes me.
I like what you said about recognizing reality for you. There's very little downside to exploring these new opportunities.
Yeah, as an artist, like I have plenty of things that are just sitting on my shelf that I've made that I haven't put out, but it looks cool on my shelf. You know, it doesn't have to look cool at other people's shelves because I'm not super proud of it, but I mean, it looks neat.
I think that's a perfect example of what you said when you're creating these things that you would be excited to receive in the mail, that you would be excited to have for yourself.
Yeah. That is the number one, like if I wrote a book about like how to like make art, the first words would be that. It would be like, make something that you would be excited to get. That is like absolutely it. That is like the foundation.
Based off of a lot of the ideas you shared, I feel like you've got a lot of material to help other people.
It's weird because I don't talk about like this stuff very often, and like when I do, I almost surprise myself with like how much I spew out, and then sometimes I think I'm going too hard. But yeah, it's weird. Like it's like another side. Because I'm like usually like a dumbass. I'm like a dumbass like gamer who's like raging at League of Legends and like making fart jokes, right? And then when I like talk about stuff that I really have like a passion for, I like go off and become like for whatever fucking reason, and it's really weird. I don't know like why it happens, but it does. It's fun, and it brings out a side of me that, like I said, it surprises me, and I don't even like, I don't realize that I can do it. And a lot of the times, like even today, like when we were like gonna start this, I was like, I'm kind of nervous. Like, what if I don't know like what to talk about? Like, what if I don't know? Like, I'm gonna like blow it. And then yeah, it turned out great, and I'm having a great time.
I mean, I'm glad to share this. I have to think of a better way to be like, have it more, because I remember when I was first asked by David for our keys and our talk, I had that anxiety. I was like, what? I didn't know what to expect, but
Yeah,
I really want to be able to convey somehow that it's just like I'm really curious just to hear yours. I mean, dude, you've been so open and amazing, and incredible sharing your perspective. It's like I could have just sat here and just listened. I mean, yeah, I have just been sitting here and listening.
Yeah, it's cool, man. I really enjoy doing stuff like this. It's like you said, it's like a win-win-win. It's a great way to reach out and like, I don't know, like help people as well.
Hey, that's like, dude, I mean, right there's another thing that I've really been thinking about is like, me when I started out making keycaps, it was super just self-focused. It's like I want to make my things, I want to make my business, like I want to be able to do this for me. And
yeah,
it's like,
and that's like that's perfectly fine too. Like when it comes down to it,
sure.
as well, when it comes down like all to it, this is my job now, and like I need that bread. Like I need the income and stuff like that. But I'm like not being like, oh, like I make keycaps, I'm the best. Like buy my keycaps. You know?
Yeah,
it's like, all right, this is my income. Like of course I need the money, and of course I'm gonna like advertise and like try to pop off as much as I can. But I appreciate, like of course I like without the people like supporting me, I wouldn't be able to do it. So like of course, like, and I think most people like understand that. And like as time goes, like people even like communicate that to like me as well, which is super nice. So like I have like in my sale for like things, I'll have like a comment section and stuff like that, and people leave like such dope things, even though like we don't talk, like I don't talk to them or whatever, and like I read every single one of them because there's people that out there that are like, your art is super inspiring, like thank you so much for making this stuff, like you're like one of the reasons why I make stuff and like shit like that. And it's like, yo dude, this is like so sick, like this is awesome, like I appreciate that.
Yeah. Oh, you hit on so many things. Just like when you said, this is my job now, is like you accept it and you're going forward. And it's like, and then also recognizing, engaging with all these people. And especially in the keyboard community now, I see it seems like to be growing more and more supportive and inclusive.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, go on.
In the beginning, it felt a little like gatekeepery almost, not really by the makers though, which was weird. The makers, like every maker that I've talked to, well, not every, and I'm not gonna throw anyone under the bus, but most makers are like super welcoming and like awesome, and they're great to get along with, and like they love to help out and talk and like do all sorts of things, and all of them have like everyone's gonna have their own weird like bizarro personality and stuff like that, but most of like the weird gatekeepery like anything, it comes from just like the like negative part of the community, which is like it's small but it's loud, and oftentimes like the loudest thing is like the most negative. So it happens, but you can't let like all the negative like override the positive.
You say that, I see your journey as beginning from that first raffle feedback and till now as a great example of you living that belief and overcoming those initial flamers.
Yeah. Another crazy part of the whole story too. I forgot this. So on my first sale, like it was my very first sale, my stuff was like it was pretty janky because it was my like maybe first few runs like of like figuring it out, but I thought they came out pretty damn good. But when I look back on it, they're janky. They were janky. So the first caps were janky, and like deep down I knew it. I knew they weren't like on par with like nightcaps and stuff like that. But I knew it was my first sale and I had to start somewhere. And immediately after, there was a guy who reviewed my cap, and he wrote a review, and I saw it, and I was like fine with it. It was my first cap, and I was like, this is like constructive criticism. And those were things I actually knew. Like, there's like a part where he was like, there's a tool mark on the back, like where there was like a line and stuff. And I was like, okay, it's like nitpicky. And then there was like a tiny little bubble on like the stem and stuff. And I was like, okay, I see that. And I get it, whatever. At least I'm going to avoid that for the next time around. At least I know. And then there were other people who I don't want this to ever happen. Like, there were people who had my back, but way, way too aggressively. And they were like flaming the dude. They were mad. And I was like, I replied and I was like, yeah, I was like, yo, thanks for the input. And then the guy below me was like, yo, fuck you, dude. It's his first sale. And I was like, oh my God. And it was cool. And I like messaged the guy after and I was like, thanks. That was like really sick, but like, you didn't have to go that hard. Like it's fine. Trust me. It's okay. And then when I went to KeyCon, and then when I went with Glenn to 5 Points Fest, Glenn was with a friend. There was like a friend with him. I can't remember his name. And we were talking, and it turned out that is the guy who reviewed my keycap. And he was a cool ass guy. He was super nice. And he was like, yeah, dude, I got
No
like,
shit.
dude, they like weaponized on me, dude. They were mad. And I was like, I swear to you, like, if I could go back and have it not happen, like, that was, he was like, yeah. And I felt bad too, because he wanted to start that as like a series, like on Reddit, where he buys people's caps and reviews them, which is like cool, but also like looked down upon because it's art. Like that's what a lot of people are saying. It's like, it's art. And you're like critiquing like the quality of it and stuff when it comes down, and there's art critiques and stuff like that. That's all fine. And I'm okay with it. But like, and it turned out he like stopped doing it because like people got like mad at him and stuff. So it was kind of a bummer, but like he was a cool guy. He was really, it was funny. He was, he was telling us, like, we were talking, and Glenn and I were talking to him, and then he said that he had like a UV tattoo. And Glenn's like, you're lying, dude. There's no way. And then he was like, no, dude, I have one. And we're like, and even me in my mind, I was like, I don't know. I don't know about this guy. It's kind of weird. And then we were in 5 Points Fest, and there's like all sorts of toys and stuff. And there's a guy with a black light shining his black light on toys because they're UV reactive. And he was like, can I see that? And he shined it on his arm, and he had it. He actually had it. Yeah, it's super cool.
Yo, that's hype.
Yeah, it was like weird, like just fate. I ended up like hanging out with the guy that like critiqued my first cap ever. Like, it was super cool.
I remember seeing a YouTube video from Alex Oto's stream.
No, I sent him those caps. I sent
okay.
Yeah. He did like a review thing on them, but it was just like almost like an advertisement, right? He just like kind of showed them all. Yeah, that was that. I sent it to him as just like it would be cool if he had him and like took pictures with them, and that was it. But then he did like a whole thing on him, and I was like, oh damn, like okay, well, do it, I guess, But yeah, Alex is a cool guy. I don't know. It was weird. Like, I don't normally like do stuff like that, and I don't know why I really did it. Like, but like it wasn't out of like me wanting him to like show him off, but it also was partly like I would be so stoked to see him like have pictures of him and stuff like that, because like I like seeing my work on like people's like like keyboards and stuff. It's fun, it's cool to see. And like I just sent him 2 caps for free, and I was like, yo, that would be super sick to see him like post it. It wasn't like trying to get like any what's the word, like advertisement out of it.
Mm-mm-mm.
But then he kind of just did, and it was wild.
That's awesome. It's funny because I'm definitely guilty of like I've seen in the past. I saw Alex do artisan collaborations where he would do giveaways.
Yeah,
so I reached out to him on Instagram when I was trying to grow my Instagram following, and
yeah,
said, I have like these caps I want to make. Like, would you be willing to do this? And we did like the whole thing. But yeah, he's done a lot to promote the community.
Oh yeah, and it's just like super super cool of him. And like, there's nothing wrong with like wanting to promote your stuff. That's another like weird like sellout culture thing where like people don't like when people try to promote their stuff. It's weird.
Yeah. I think since I've definitely changed the way I think about Instagram, and like you said, the followership numbers, like it's just a comparison game, and it's easy to fall in that trap. One format that I picked up from listening to other podcasts is like ending with a few quick questions.
Yeah.
And the questions are short, but your answers can be as long as you want.
Okay.
I guess just starting from the top, what does creativity or being creative mean to you?
It means doing whatever the fuck you want, and that's it. A period. I think being creative, like I said, doing whatever you want, whether it being music or how you look or what you're doing with your hands or what you're putting on paper, anything like that.
If you could only have one tool from your artisan toolkit, what would it be?
That's a good one. Because I think about this. I actually think about this almost every time I sculpt. Like what my favorite tool is. Like physically or like
could be anything.
My hands. No.
That's valid.
Yeah, that's just like a smart ass answer. Okay, honestly, my hands. Like if I had my hands, I wouldn't be able to do it. But like technically, like on paper, a stylus tool, like the little ball end tools with like a little nub at the end, like a really small one. I can maybe do an entire sculpt with just that. That is the most important tool to me.
Do you listen to certain music or playlists when you're in your creative zone?
Sometimes, but oftentimes, surprisingly, no. I'm usually just like kind of weird. Like when I think about it, I'm just in silence doing my thing. But recently I've been thinking about like ways to like stimulate myself like while I'm doing work, and I bought a Kindle and it has audiobook. And like I obviously love music, but it's weirdly enough like I don't want to say I'm not a music guy because that's just bizarre. No one's not a person, but I like there are people who listen to music constantly. I don't listen to music like that often. There's like given times where I like listen to music, and I guess it would be weird to other people how like often I don't listen to music, and like I actually like listening to like other sorts of media. Like oftentimes I'll have just like a movie or a show or something playing because I like stories a lot. I like listening and hearing stories. So I think the Kindle and having like an audiobook is going to be really good for me.
Do you have any favorite documentaries or movies?
Well, I have a lot of favorite movies. Documentaries, I watch a lot of them. There's just like so many good documentaries. Movie wise, like you can kind of get like a taste of like how like my style and things by just my movie taste. Some of my favorite movies are like Drive, Nightcrawler, Akira, the anime movie, obviously like Lord of the Rings and stuff. Those are all great, but that's kind of just like you can't not like those. Trying to think of missing. I know I'm missing. Like Pulp Fiction. Yeah, like stuff like I like gritty, like no bullshit real movie. Like I like when movies are like told, when the story is told well in like a clean way, where there's no like dumbass shit that like for example, like in like a superhero movie, how the villain has like the kill switch to his like end all the universe button. So like
Yeah.
Why does he have that if he really wants to end it? And then he talks about it for like 3 hours before he presses the button so that the superheroes can go in and like turn it off. It's not my shit. I don't like that. I like badass, like gritty, real movies. Another one like is Old Boy. Have you ever seen that movie?
Oh,
that movie's so badass. It's like a Korean revenge film. It's It's so cool. It's like a really badass movie. But I like movies like and I like good cinematography. I like anything that like visually like looks good without it being like crazy. This is like kind of not stereotypical. This is kind of hypocritical, but like special effects overload. I don't like that. That special effects are still art, but when it's like I can't tell what I'm looking at because it's over designed special effects.
I think there was like a video. Have you heard of, just because you mentioned Akira?
Yeah.
Like I'm a huge manga nerd. Like I grew up reading a bunch of different graphic novels.
Hell yeah. I just finished Uzumaki, which is funny because what inspired my Uzushi was Uzumaki, but I had never read it. I liked the artwork a lot. And I just finished it last night or something. And that was sick. It was super cool. I think I'm gonna read more of Junji Ito or Junjo. I don't remember the author.
Is that the new Naruto?
No. It's the he's like a Japanese horror writer, and he does like really really creepy like Japanese, like you know how Japanese horror is like really bizarre and weird. Yeah, he does that, but he does it so well that it's like it's not so bizarre that you're like, what even the hell is going on? It's like creepy still. It's like really good. And the Uzumaki, yeah, and the whole story is about this town, and there's a weird like obsession with spirals happening, and like it gets more and more and more like intense as it goes until it gets like really fucking out of control. It's really sick. And I got it on my Kindle, and that was like the first thing I read, and it was really cool. I recommend it.
Have you heard of? I'm just gonna list a few. Have you heard of Ants, Berserk, Vagabond, Setman?
I know of Berserk. I'm gonna read the manga. I watched most of the anime. I really really liked it, but the anime. What sucks about it is like it's really good, but it's dated. And then they have the new stuff that's in that like the animation style. I don't like it. It's like the 3D.
It's super cinematic.
Like, yeah. It's like it's like 3D, but like still like anime, and it looks kind of like off. I don't know. And then
very polished.
Yeah, and then what was the other one? Gant.
There was a movie, I think.
The movie, and it's like crazy CGI. It's like really sick, right?
I've never seen the movie.
Okay, I think I saw the movie, and it was really really cool. It was really cool. And see, I love. Okay, one of my favorite things ever is when a simple story is told very well. I love that. I love that more than anything. So my favorite movie of all time is Drive. The whole movie, I'm not going to spoil anything because you should watch it. It's really good. It's about a guy who's like a driver, like a stunt driver, but he also works with like the mafia to be like a getaway driver, and he like falls in love with a girl, and the girl has like a husband that's in prison, and the husband in prison has to pay a debt, and the driver is like so in love with the girl that he is like willing to help the husband. And there's way more to it, and it's like super super good, and it's such a simple like story. The main character doesn't have like a name. His name, they just named him the driver. Like if you read the script, he's just called the driver, and it's really sick. And it's Ryan Gosling as like the driver. It's really really cool. It's a good movie.
That was a solid setup, dude. All right, I'm intrigued.
I've watched.
I have to do a better job of selling Vagabond.
You're good.
So yeah, okay. So I would recommend reading Vagabond first. It's a long one, but
I'm down. Another one that I forgot. Another one of my all-time favorite movies. Actually, here's two now that I'm remembering. Fifth Element. The Fifth Element is an older movie. It's like a cyberpunk. Like it's an old cyberpunk is like one of my favorite like genres of anything ever. If it's done correctly, it is like my favorite. But yeah, Fifth Element is super, super good. It's old, but it's really, really good. And then the new Mad Max, I thought was a masterpiece. I thought that movie was amazing.
If you're talking about cyberpunk, I guess it's not really cyberpunk. It's more like dystopia, cyberpunk dystopia.
Yeah, the Fifth Element. It's like
Mad Max rather.
Oh yeah, Mad Max is more like post-apocalyptic, but Fifth Element is like futury, and like it's like cyberpunk, but in like a more like upbeat like way, not like the gritty like run down cyberpunk kind of.
Okay, all right. Let's see. Do you have any morning or daily routines?
I wish I did. I wish I did. I wish I was better at it. I wish I had a schedule, but I sleep all day sometimes and stay up all night. I fuck everything up with scheduling, and I do everything on time, but I do everything in not correct order. So it's bad.
Now, this might have just been a bad question because I mean, from what I've heard, from what I've been hearing you say, it's like you really thrive off of like the spontaneous creativity.
Yeah. It's even I'm pretty spontaneous, like in general. So setting up a schedule, like when I have like freedom, is like near impossible for me, and I make really dumb decisions with my time. I'll sit and play video games till like literally 6 a.m, and then I'll sleep all day. I'll want to fix it. Like currently I'm fixing it, and it's a nightmare. It's so bad. I'll sleep like all day, have to do something during the day, wake up for it, do it, go back to sleep, wake up at like 2 a.m, and be fully awake. But that's okay. I mean, sometimes it'd be like that.
I think this was in like January. I had my schedule flipped. Like I was going to sleep at 6 a.m, and then like waking up at like 9, like 10. It was fantastic and terrible.
Yeah. I don't have to. There's nothing I'm like really. There's no negative thing other than it feeling really weird. Like a lot of the time.
Weird is a good way to put it.
Yeah, it's like I'll like wake up like and it's nighttime, and I'll be like, like I didn't even see the sun, and like
I was gonna say, the sun's up, time to go to sleep.
Yeah.
No, I mean, hey, it sounds like you're figuring out what's been working for you too. I think this would be a good place to wrap it up. And last question I have for you is, do you have any parting thoughts or advice or even requests that you would like to ask with impart on the audience?
Oh man, I knew the last one was going to be a big one. I think to like anyone listening, if you want to be creative, take my advice from earlier and do whatever the fuck you want. Don't be afraid to display who you are through any means necessary. That means anything. Like if it's what you're wearing, or if it's what you're making, or if it's your hair, or your whatever you want, literally do whatever the fuck you want, because there are too many people doing the same thing because they're afraid. I think that's it.
It's great. I mean, dude, again, that resonates with me, man. And I feel like you're saying it, and I'm hearing it like the perfect time.
I'm really glad. I'm glad it's like, I'm glad you can relate. I'm glad because it also makes me feel better, because I have trouble like relating to people who like have the same, like that are doing the same thing and having the same issues, because I don't want to, like, it's hard to go out and be like to like another maker and be like, hey, I feel really shitty. Do you? And then like, surprisingly, probably a lot of them will be like, oh my God, you too. Like, so, but it's hard. And like, it's just like opening up isn't easy. And like, I know I did it like today, and it sounded like I just like went off and just did it, but it's not easy. And sometimes you just gotta like do it. And then when you do it, it feels fucking good. It feels great. That's another advice, is just like open up. Holy shit. Everyone should just open up.
And I appreciate all of you shared today, Nick. It's crazy. Just you being open and willing to provide your background, your story, and your insights for your craft. In closing, where's the best place for people to follow you with your craft, your art, or the best place to get in touch?
Instagram. And I just Sludgekidd on Instagram. I'm like stupid, crazy, fat. Okay. I'm really good at replying, but sometimes I'm not. Sometimes I see it and I'm like, I'll be doing something and then I'll like read the message and be like, I have to reply, and then I'll put my phone down and then zone out. So, but typically I respond really, really fast. And if you need any questions or anything like that, help with like casting, if you want to like know more about like cap stuff or like anything like that, Instagram or even Discord as well. And you could actually find my Discord link on my Instagram as well. It's in my bio. You can join the Discord through there, and there's like a whole bunch of people in there. It's a fun little place, especially when sales happen. Everyone's shooting the shit and having fun. So,
and again, for everyone who's listening, we'll also provide links in the show notes for the Discord and Instagram where you can see what Sludgekidd's working on and what's going on in the lab. I just wanted to wrap it up by again thanking you for the time, Nick. You've really helped me, especially now with the feedback and context and advice that you've shared. And I hope that all the listeners can learn something too. I really appreciate your time.
Absolutely, dude. It was a pleasure being here, and I'm happy I could help you. Yeah, I'm glad I can help. I'm glad you can relate. It makes me feel better. It was awesome. It was a great time. I had a lot of fun, and you were really kick ass at hosting a podcast. And you should do Twitch.
Thanks, Nick. And again, thank you to all the listeners who tuned in. And until next time, thanks for listening.